Let's get nasty on a Wednesday. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, Andrew Marsh, and Anthony Stalter. 203, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Jamie, welcome back.
I didn't know who this guy was. He came in, he was sitting in a chair that I mean, it's been so empty for
Do you always embrace people you don't know like that, Carey?
Yeah, I gotta do it. It's kind of my thing.
I mean, it was from behind. He had the strength of a boa constrictor, I'm not going to lie. But I did appreciate it. I missed you too, buddy. I missed you too.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah.
It's good to
too
see
hot
you.
in here.
It is a little warm in here. We clearly missed that.
We don't need to drop it down too much, man. We don't need meat locker in here.
It was so cold in here one day you weren't here. My dang on hands were freezing. I said, are you not cold? He's like, no, I'm fine. It's freezing in here. Okay.
Yeah. You know how much radio I've done with this dude? I got used to it. Fortunately, I went to school in Michigan, so that helps a little bit. But
in fairness to me, if we're going to be fair at all, it goes from boiling to freezing to boiling. There's no in between. So when you move the dial, it goes extreme. And now I don't necessarily move the dial back up because I like it. It's just fine. But it's good to be back.
It's kind of like watching the Blues. You know, they go from one extreme to the
Cardinals,
next.
by the way.
That was
Sonny Gray calling out his own pitches and MFing people that aren't even there, imaginary people that he's yelling at. I love this guy.
Right on, Jamie, right on.
Jamie
Gets it.
I see what you're doing right now.
Wilson Contreras, too. This guy here, he's predicted to be a leader now, not just a leader, the leader of the clubhouse. Imagine that. Like last year, he's the odd man out, and he's going to be a DH and an outfielder and all this stuff. And now he's the leader of this clubhouse.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. I like that.
Blues play like they did last night. They're going to be the odd team out when it comes to the wild card. That was not pretty, Jamie.
It wasn't.
Not one bit.
I was there.
Outside of the fourth, outside of the fourth line in Bennington, that was pretty bad.
It was bad, yeah. Look, I don't think there's one player. In fact, I know there's not one player that's sitting there following that game happy with the team effort. There are probably three players that are pretty happy with their effort. The fourth line was fantastic. And Jordan Binnington, although Jordan Binnington's never happy unless they're winning. And let me let you in on a little secret, guys. Jordan Binnington doesn't even care about letting in 3 or 4 goals as long as they win.
Yeah.
As long as he can make the save that wins a hockey game or helps the team win. That's where he's at in his career, which is a great mindset to have as a goaltender. You know, it's not that he likes being scored on, but he wants to win. So I just wanted to put that out in the universe. But yeah, the fourth line came to play, and I don't know what it was, man. It's weird, like Toronto games. Now, the Blues, by the way, historically, since the Scotiabank Arena has been built, I think the Blues were like 14-1-2 going.
Yeah, they had a lot of success there.
Like a crazy winning percentage. So it's not like they go up to Toronto and they get nervous and it's just a bad thing. It just was a bad night. And you could tell from the very first shift of the game, you know, Toronto, it's set up to be a bad game. And it shouldn't be this way. And it's quite honestly inexcusable from some of the players, but you're looking across at the other team. They're without 3 of their best players. Their best defenseman by far is out. Then you have Tavares and you have Marner, that last second scratches before the game, before the warm-ups. That should motivate you to just kick their teeth in. And whatever reason, I guess it didn't. And I'm not saying that they sat there and said, well, we're going to have it easy now. But now that narrative is out there. Because of the way you came out for that very first shift or first period of the game, it feels like, well, they just thought they were going to have it easy. And I don't know that attitude to be true or not. I'm not in the locker room or on the bench, so I can't pass that judgment. But I can tell you that watching the game, I saw from the very first puck drop that they weren't into it.
Is it hard to focus on just the task at hand? Because we can sit here and say, well, look, you're playing the Toronto Maple Leafs. It doesn't really matter who's in uniform for that night. You got to win the game.
Yeah.
But you're also human beings. So was it tough back in the day, Jamie, when you knew that certain players were going to be out for certain teams?
No.
To just focus in on what the other team's sweater?
Are you kidding me, Anthony? That means I got more ice time. when Lemieux and Yager were out Hey, Rivers, you're going to play more because we don't want these other crayon eaters to be taking advantage of your teammates.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
good luck.
That makes sense.
Put it in a mouth guard if you got one.
If not, we don't care. Still get out there.
But no, there were pockets of time in my career where I was playing against the top guys night in and night out. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just wired in a weird way. Maybe I need help, probably.
Yeah.
But like every time I touched the ice, I played to win. I told you this before. Like halfway through my career, like as a young guy, I was hungry, just wanted to win, wanted to be successful, wanted to win every game. The back half of my career, I convinced myself to believe that this might be the last time you play. Every game might be the last game you play. And is this how you want to be remembered? And so, not doesn't mean I played great every game, but I played my ass off every game. And so, whatever it took from that point on, and I've told you this before, the last person you see in almost every day is yourself in the mirror. Before you go to bed, you're brushing your teeth, you're doing whatever you got to do, you're staring at yourself in the mirror. Are you embarrassed of that person or are you not? And so for me, it's a psychotic way of looking at it, but that's the way I looked at it. So did I go out there and did I leave it all out on the ice? So if I don't play tomorrow or ever again, can I go back at this last game and go, you know what? I'm proud of that. That's the mentality I had. So maybe that's way out there. Maybe that's, I don't know, maybe it's over the top. But that's the way I went into things.
I don't think that's way out there. I don't think it's over the top. We talked about this team, and the level of frustration that you have is effort and energy, because those are the things you can control. If a guy is better than you, faster, stronger, more skilled, though you're going to run into, especially when you're at the highest level, you will run into those guys. There's going to be plenty of them. But that person cannot control your effort or your energy, and it cannot control your effort and energy collectively as a team. And I think the level of frustration that Blues fans have is when you go out there and when you say only the fourth line played well, that's frustrating, because why? Why is that? What do you need to, what more do you want than to have everything right in front of you and say, hey, if we lose, we lose, but we're not going to lose because we just don't try as hard as we can. And I think that's the one concern that has been the concern consistently throughout the entire year.
And you could see them pressing throughout the game, too. Like, the turnovers were uncharacteristic to what they had been doing for the last, 7 out of their first, or the last 8 games. The neutral zone giveaways, that going side to side with the puck rather than moving it ahead. Like, you could just see the small little things that were bad habits before that really hadn't been in their game recently. You could see it happening, and you're like, oh, no, move the puck ahead, get it in, force this defensive core without their number one guy to play defense, force them to try and break out of their zone. Put it in Mark Giordano's corner. He's 40 years old. He's got to get tired at some point. No, but seriously, Mark Giordano, he was energized. He's a hell of a player, and he probably still has another couple of years left in him if he wants it. But test him. He's coming off the IR, too. Put it in his corner. Run him.
Yeah, there's no excuse for Samsonov to only have 14 saves. I mean, that's ridiculous. You didn't funnel pucks to the net. You didn't hem Toronto into their own zone. You did none of it. You did nothing to really give yourself an opportunity to win from an offensive standpoint. Bennington was excellent. I thought the fourth line played with a lot of energy. I thought they were the best line last night. But when it comes to, you want your fourth line to have that identity, but I don't know how you guys feel. I don't want the fourth line to be the best line in a given night.
I'm going to tell you a secret, Anthony. It's a dirty secret, too. We can say it on air. If the fourth line is your best line, you didn't have a great game.
Right.
That's no disrespect. I was a fourth liner as a forward. I was a third pair defenseman as a defenseman. And if I was the best guy on the ice with McInnes and Pronger and Steve Duchesne and other guys in our lineup, we had a bad day.
Yeah.
It wasn't great.
It's tough.
It is. Somewhat, you're a fourth liner.
It's somewhat similar, Carey, to the safety. You look down at the box score, it's like, our safety was our leading tackler. That's not good.
We didn't have a good day.
He was active.
Yeah, 17 tackles. Oh, that meant the linebacker probably had 3.
Yeah, not great.
Not great.
Good defense is important.
Yeah, they got past the linebacker to get to the safety.
Yeah, and the opposing running back had a 7.3 yards per carry average.
180 yards.
Yep. Blues and Oilers, not that they're playing well. That's the pregame show tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Oilers. What did they score, 20 last night?
They had 3, and I think they ended up with 7. They had 3 going into the third and 4 goals, I think, in the 7-4 was the final, I believe.
Well, it's a good opportunity to bounce back.
They'll be tired.
Yeah, they'll be real tired.
Their arms that many times.
They shouldn't have scored that many.
Travel from Edmonton today.
It's a long trip.
It's a beautiful sunny day, but that's a long trip.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
They should have saved some of those goals. So Blues are
8-4.
It was 8.
8-4.
I was way off.
Unreal.
Right.
Who's in your starting 9 for the Cardinals on opening day? Katie Wu had some projections for the starting lineup. We'll discuss that next on 101 ESPN. When it comes to the Missouri Athletic Club, I enjoy going down there, get my workout in. I usually go to the West Clubhouse, but I also enjoy just seeing this, a lot of the same familiar faces. I get to know the different club members, get to know what they do and how they became a club member, and that's part of it, right? And then from there, you get to know new friends and things like that. But when it comes to the West Clubhouse, again, I enjoy just going down there, get my workout in, showering up, prepping for the show. Love man, they always got great meals going on, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner. MAC does it right. It's my MAC, Missouri Athletic Club. Katie Wu of The Athletic put together a roster projection a couple of days ago for The Athletic. So the Cardinals opening day roster projection. What to watch for as spring training begins. Let's see if we agree with these. A lot of the names, I don't think we're going to have a lot of pushback, but you never know. Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, I'm Anthony Stalter.
Katie Wu accountable here.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
All right, starting pitchers. Sonny Gray, Miles Michaelis, Kyle Gibson, Lance Lynn, Steven Matz. No surprises here.
Check.
Yeah.
Steven Matz going to be fighting for his life. After I seen what Zach Thompson was talking about, now he's approaching this. You see that last week?
Oh, yeah.
You did. I know you were there.
He's
you were
ready
with
to
me.
go.
No, he is dead set focused on taking a rotation spot.
I hope he does, quite frankly.
Who would
hope
you
he
rather?
does.
If both parties being equal, would you rather have Zach Thompson or Steven Matz ready?
Steven Matz, if he's healthy.
I would say the same.
I would disagree.
Well, but here's the thing, Jamie. Here's the trapdoor scenario. Even if he is healthy, wait till about May, and then
No, but I
Zach
understand,
Thompson
I'm
will be in the
saying
rotation.
All things being equal, wouldn't you rather have the young arm? I would.
I mean, Steven Matz,
Way more
when he did pitch last year, he pitched very well.
No, he did for a incremental amount of time. Let's not forget the beginning of the season where he didn't pitch well. Then he got hurt. Then he was demoted to the bullpen.
Right.
Then he got brought back in because everybody else was so bad.
Yeah.
And then he pitched good. So let's not forget how it actually went, Anthony.
Jamie,
don't go trying to snow me on this.
Jamie, you got me on
This guy all sunshines and lollipops crap.
Jamie, you got me on the Steven Matz hill. I don't want to be there.
Well,
I don't want to die
just
there.
walked up there and stood there.
I walked up there
He's
for a
not by
second.
himself.
What?
He's not by himself up there. I'm up there with him.
Oh, God.
Because Steven Matz, spring training, Steven Matz was outstanding last year.
How many trophies you win in spring training,
You
Carey?
don't win any.
Cactus, you could win the Cactus League.
Did they give you a ring for
Did
that?
they win that? They got
Grapefruit
that?
League champions.
There you
It's
go.
not the Cactus League,
There you
excuse me.
go.
That's
We
an
can
Grapefruit
win the
League,
Cactus League, too. That's how good they were last
Exactly,
year.
thank you. Yeah, they just gave it to him.
They were the double champ.
Yeah.
They were. And then they
And
weren't.
then they weren't. And then the season started, and it didn't go well. And then he, as you said, the timeline is accurate, how you went demoted to the bullpen and performed really well there and earned an opportunity back into the starting line. He did.
No, he fell into it.
Well,
he
look,
fell into it.
everybody
They
was
sucked
hurt.
so bad they said, give this guy a chance.
Everybody was hurt. He did really well and earned himself.
No, he didn't.
And then I think he
You
ended
can
the season
polish
hurt
up that
again.
turd
correct?
all you
Is that
want.
right? Yeah.
It's no way.
I think it's Steven Matz. I did
I
like.
think it'll be Steven Matz, but I don't like it.
Oh, yeah. Well.
You don't have to wait very long, Jamie. Just wait until he gets hurt.
Don't put that on Steven Matz. He's going to be healthy.
he's
going
gonna
to
Carey
puts that on himself.
He's going to start
He
33
does.
games this year.
Carey, don't forget, these are right here for you.
There we go.
Guys,
Yes.
We need better glasses.
33 games
Marshy,
from
I don't
Steven
know.
Matz.
I kind of like these.
Over or under?
Marshy, we're going to
Over.
task you at something.
Over? Yeah.
You're going to hit a dollar store somewhere in St. Louis, and you're going to buy a pair of red glasses and a pair of blue glasses.
I might have to get a few blue glasses after last night's game.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can find plenty of Cardinals and Blues related glasses.
No, you'll pay too much. We don't want that. Go on Amazon. Get the cheapos.
after
A little
last
expensive.
season.
I'll get like the
I like
Tony
the red
Stark
tinted.
glasses.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what I'm talking about?
It would be good.
Well, expensive. Tommy loves expensive.
Absolutely, yeah, he doesn't care. Your catchers, Wilson Contreras and Ivan Herrera. I think that's the way it should be.
In that order?
Yes. We're not
Yes.
starting 2024 off with this nonsense.
Did
Wilson
you see
Contreras.
what league he played in? What was that league Herrera was in?
The Winter League?
Caribbean League?
Oh, yeah.
He tore that place apart.
He's going to be a good backup for the Cardinals.
He should get 2 starts a week.
Was you getting about 40 starts this season?
Once the season gets rolling a little bit. Now, maybe because of all the off days, you have Wilson Contreras catch the bulk of April. But Ivan Herrera should see, like you said, 40 or 45 starts this year.
Don't always agree with you, but you're right on this one.
Thanks, Janet.
See?
Appreciate you.
Everyone knows.
Infielders, Nolan Arenado.
Thank you.
I got to get into shape here.
Yeah, that was a little weak.
Paul Goldschmidt, Brendan Donovan, Nolan Gorman, Mason Wynn, and the one and only Salsa King, Matt Carpenter.
Where's Carpenter going?
Starting at second base.
In the clubhouse.
He's starting at second
Oh, well,
base.
he didn't say the position, so I was like,
Yeah, that's what he.
Well, no, this is Katie. It just says infielders.
He's not starting anywhere.
No, he's not.
No, he's not. No, we're talking about roster projections.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought we were putting together the starting roster.
We will.
This is why I got so serious, guys. I misunderstood
there.
the assignment.
Yeah. Well, this is just a roster projection, and then
we're
we'll
just
get
letting everybody play.
and then we'll get into the.
Well, there are 5 starting pitchers. That may have
I did
thrown
dig
you
my
off.
heels on that
Okay.
one. Yeah.
All right.
That may have thrown you
stand
off.
So
by it.
again, no pushback on the infielders. Outfielders: Lars Nootbaar, Tommy Edman, Jordan Walker, Dylan Carlson, Alec Burleson. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Relief pitchers: Ryan Helsley, Giovanni Gallegos, Keenan Middleton, Andrew Kittredge, Jojo Romero, John King, Ryan Fernandez, and Nick Robertson. There's a lot of new faces there. She said those 3 spots are shaping up to be the most competitive area on the roster. Any toss-up of Robertson, King, Fernandez, Andre Palante, Matthew Liberatore, and even prospect Gordon Graceffa with an outstanding spring could make the cut. King makes the roster here as a left-handed complement to Romero, while Robertson provides durability. I like the way that Katie laid that out there. I don't think that Matthew Liberatore starts the year in the bullpen, and I could see Andre Palante after the mess that he had last year, of a season last year. He's behind now. Mm-hmm. So
What a
those
turn
names,
of events for that kid, man. He did everything possible to get himself into the action to where they started him even. They loved him so much. And last year you couldn't pitch him.
and then he did everything to get himself out of there, unfortunately, to lose a roster spot.
It's tough when you're a younger player, trying to figure out your role, trying to figure out yourself and how you fit in all of that. I think, maybe a little bit more experience, he'll be better. But I mean, for the most part, I think that John King and Jojo Romero for me was, in my opinion, the MVP of the bullpen last year. He was the only one that I trusted as we went down late in the season. You could tell he was still passionate about winning and wanting to do everything he could. Got his first decision ever in his career. So I think he did a great job last year and earned a spot on this roster for 2024.
Yeah, I agree. I think they also overpitched him so that he got hurt. So hopefully they don't have to. Hopefully they don't have to do that this year. Hopefully some of those other guys can pitch as good so that JoJo can just do his job.
Let's hope.
I think the bullpen has an opportunity to be really good this season.
Ryan Helsley, your closer?
I think you have several late inning options. Ryan Helsley's one of them. Giovanni Gallegos is another one. Kittredge had some high leverage opportunities.
So did JoJo last year.
So did Jojo Romero. I think that you've got you have options now. Middleton could do it too, where Ollie on a given day can actually play the. This is where I don't mind if you play the matchups. If you want to do that in the late innings to match things up, that could give you an advantage if you have the stable of pitchers. We can't criticize the manager when the bullpen is Helsley every other day, Giovanni Gallegos on gas, and then Carey, Jamie, and me. Like Ollie's not going to succeed with that group. But with this group, if it stays healthy, I think he can mix and match, and then there's more onus on his late game managing. If you're going to do a starting lineup, projected starting lineup, what do you think? Who leads off? Lars?
Well,
What? Okay. Guys, don't.
is it a righty?
Sorry.
Well, no, but is it a righty or lefty on the bump? Because
Right-hander.
Then I would say it's Lars. Yes. Or
If
Brendan
it's a lefty, it's Donovan.
Or Brendan. Well, no,
You
if
all
it's a
don't-
lefty, it'd probably be Tommy Edman, wouldn't
Do
it?
we not want
Or
speed
Tommy.
at the top of the line? Like real speed?
Lars can
wheel
but
a little bit.
He's not.
Have you not seen him run?
I have.
He's faster than us, Carey. Oh, he is. Yeah.
I still can pick him up and put him down.
No, I know, but
One time.
Our
I'm not
hamstrings-
going to race more.
our
Nah,
hamstrings aren't equipped for.
this is true. I don't know.
Okay, so some combination of Donovan, Nootbaar, Tommy Edman
Edman.
at leadoff.
Okay.
Paul Goldschmidt, number 2.
I'd like to know. Yes, I don't disagree with that, but I'd like to know what Goldie's numbers are in the 2-hole rather than the 3-hole. You know, like where does he have his biggest success?
That I don't know. You'd have to
I
ask
would
him.
like to see Jordan Walker in the 2-hole. I would like to have. I want to see him. I mean, he was batting 6th, 7th, 8th, and the numbers aren't going to be as great when you don't have anyone batting behind you or people aren't on. If you're batting 8th, I want to see him with more. If you want to see the best version of him and the best version of your team, let him get on. And now he's fast enough that can get around the bases when Nolan or Goldie hits one in the gap. Like that's my opinion. Goldschmidt in the 2-hole, yeah, he's probably going to get on. How is he going to be able to get around there fast enough? Give me somebody that can hit the ball hard and get around the bases when my big guys come up after him.
Yeah, I don't hate the idea. Like 2 years ago, we were starving to put somebody else in the 2 spot because Goldie 3 and Arenado 4 seemed to work. Mm-hmm. In fact, Tyler O'Neill, they were really wanting that to work out because of Tyler O'Neill being able to have pop and also his speed.
And run.
And that never seemed to work out. They've tried a number of guys. Finally, they got sick of it and said, Goldie's going to go there.
I like Goldschmidt.
But doesn't it limit? Like when you don't have speed on the base paths, now you're station to station as opposed to, yeah, I can get a guy that can get from first to third and not be thrown out. He's not going to be stuck at second base. I just feel like if you have more speed, more athleticism, let's go. Let's use that.
So in that spot, I want somebody with a combination of high on base and power, and that's Goldschmidt. I want somebody that can get on base, either continue the inning or set something up, or somebody that's got a little power. And Goldschmidt has plenty of power. So with his ability to get on base plus the power, I like Goldschmidt too.
We agree to disagree.
Okay, fair enough.
We have voted you, actually.
That's fine. 3.
It's democracy, baby.
3. This is where you can kind of play around a little bit. I mean, if you wanted to have Donovan lead off, you can have Lars Nootbaar here too.
I like Gorman here.
You can go Gorman if
you're
he's
going
in the lineup.
Goldie too. I like Gorman 3.
I'm fine with that.
All right. Arenado 4th.
Yes.
Contreras 5th.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then I would either go Gorman or Lars here if you're not going to.
Gorman is 3.
Yeah, but depending on the matchups, Anthony's saying.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
So now
too.
you got Jordan Walker back at the bottom of the lineup.
Jordan Walker makes sense here at 6 too.
Is he?
Why is he so far down?
Why?
Enough. Time to lean on the kid.
Opportunities.
Time to lean on
If you're supposed to be a star, give me star at bats. Give me the guy. Put some people behind me. So guess what you got to throw to me? Good pitches. Because if I'm batting after those guys and the only person to protect me is Mason Wynn, and maybe Tommy Edman, hey, you already said Mason Wynn is batting 9th and you don't expect much from him in the lineup. What pitches am I going to see? How do you get the best
Carey's
version
right,
of
Anthony.
him?
I don't say it very often. Carey's right.
That's first. That might.
All right.
Can you write that down, Marsh? Let
me.
2:30 on 2/14. Valentine's Day. That's love.
Let me throw devil's advocate at you.
Oh, here we go.
All righty.
The bottom of your lineup stinks. Now what?
It's going to stink regardless.
Why does it have to stink?
If Jordan Walker is a god, as you guys have said, then have him hit a little bit lower, extends your lineup.
But it's not.
Oh, you're pulling that one.
No.
Lengthen the lineup. You're always wanting to lengthen it out, Anthony.
You can lengthen it if you move everybody back one spot.
Depends how much you move.
Oh.
Just saying. Nope. All right.
Don't move back too far.
I'll lengthen it out, all right.
Tommy Edman, Mason Wynn, some combination of those two guys, 8-9. All right, we've got what's trending next on 101 ESPN.
All right, St. Louis, listen up. If you are thinking about selling your home, but you have a lot of questions, like what should I be asking as far as my sales price, or when should I list my home? Is now a good time? Is the market the right spot? All of these things can be answered quickly by calling the best in the business, and that's Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And a couple of reasons why Gloria Liu is the best at her job. She's got thousands of people in her database that are looking for homes. So what better way to sell your home than to go with someone who has people ready, able, and willing to purchase your home? And hopefully that creates multiple offers and more money in your pocket. Gloria also has guaranteed sales for the seller, which is awesome. All that is, she sits down with the seller, they agree upon the sales price, and then Gloria Lou sells your home for that price, or she buys it herself, and she guarantees all of that in handwriting. So please give Gloria Lou a call. Tell her Jamie Rivers sent you in. Her number is 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or you can visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Conditions do apply. Gloria and the seller must agree on the price as well as the possession date.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues lost last night to the Toronto Maple Leafs by a final score of 4-1. They'll be back in action tomorrow, taking on the Edmonton Oilers. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7, and you can catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. The Oilers are coming off an 8-4 win over the Detroit Red Wings. They're 8-2 in their last 10 games. Also, we have some Battlehawk news that we'll get into next with what's trending. So don't go anywhere. You're listening to the Fast Lane right here on 101 ESPN. And this Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at Londoff.com and LondoffAutoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
It's time to find out what's going on in the sports world with What's Trending Now. Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate a car and get tickets to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers, and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, according to James Larson, quarterback A.J. McCarron is planning to sign back with the St. Louis Battlehawks. Sources say McCarron was officially released by the Bengals today, and Larson is told his return to the Battlehawks could be as soon as this week. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I think it's great. I thought he was one of the key advantages that the Battlehawks had over a lot of teams last year. I mean, how many times did he get to the line of scrimmage, lock eyes with one of his wide receivers, make an adjustment at the line, and wind up scoring a touchdown? I thought he played very well last year. Again, I think it's one of the Battlehawks' biggest advantages to have somebody that can read defenses, read them on the fly, make adjustments, at the line of scrimmage. He's got a fair amount of experience, more so than a lot of the quarterbacks that he's going to face throughout the XFL season, or USFL. What is it now? UFL season.
The awful.
I think this is great, and the fact that he wants to be here, he wants to play for the Battlehawks, even better.
I think he's got it figured out. I mean, you go and sign with the Cincinnati Bengals. You become a backup. Joe Burrow gets hurt, you sign. You play in a couple of games, you get some opportunities. But you know you're not ever going to be the starting quarterback there unless Joe Burrow gets hurt again and Jake Browning doesn't perform as well as he did. And then you get to go back to the UFL and play football. So you got the salary part of it because you were able to be active for some games, but then you also get to come back and play football and do the thing that you love to do and not have to worry so much about the finances because you got a few game checks, and those game checks were pretty decent, I'm sure. Even though if it was league minimum, he still was able to get some money and come back and play the game. I think it's a great idea. I think he's done a great job, and I think he's going to probably try to do the same thing, repeat the cycle next year.
This is exactly what I've been saying about the XFL/UFL. Now, this is what you need to be, is a development / maintenance league for some of these players. Because when the Bengals needed a backup quarterback, I'd rather go find a guy who was just starting in a professional league.
Right.
I'm not going to say equal, but a professional league, calling plays, reading defenses, all this stuff. Then the guy's sitting at home. I know Joe Flacco did a hell of a job, but not everybody's Joe Flacco. You know what I'm saying? So
Hall of Famer Joe Flacco.
Hey, Hall of Famer.
If Eli Manning is, so's Joe Flacco. We'll get into that later.
You didn't know that?
Yeah.
The
numbers match up,
That's
Anthony.
what I said, Anthony.
They do.
You weren't here.
Carey
I almost fell over.
I had the numbers to support it.
Didn't want to hear it.
Kind of. Anyways, my point, if we get away from Joe Flacco being a Hall of Famer, one day when he's wearing that gold jacket, you'll know. But this is what the UFL should be. You should be able to send guys down, even for me, even young guys, get them some game action. I know there's always risk of injury. Well, there's risk of injury in every minor league pro system. The hockey's physical too. Yeah. And guys play in the minors all the time. So it is what it is. But I think, to your point, he's got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Come here, play as a starting quarterback, continue to be a guy that can be called upon at any point. And then any NFL team that gets an injured quarterback at any point, even an injured backup quarterback, hey, let's call A.J. McCarron.
Yeah.
He comes in at the right price, he's going to perform, and then we just cut him. He goes back to the NFL. We're fine.
Right.
This is exactly why I think the league should be operating like that, with like this minor league-esque look to it.
Guys, the Chiefs are having their parade today, and Steve Spagnuolo was signed to a contract extension, the team announced, even though Kevin Demoff the other day was that him, Anthony, who was saying that he should have a head coaching gig because of what the Rams failed to do while they were here in St. Louis?
Didn't give him much of a shot.
Coming from the guy who signed the checks.
Yeah. Well, coming from the guy that...
Kevin, go back to bed.
Yeah.
Hey, what? They weren't even trying.
No.
But Spagnuolo, from what I was told, his demeanor and temperament, I guess, when he was here, was a little... It wasn't... It wasn't St. Louis, I guess, in terms of taking down the greatest show on turf information and pictures and signage and wanting to make it all about the new regime. You don't disregard or disparage what came before you, especially if it was greatness. You accept it and you try to build onto it. You know what I'm saying? Those guys sucked. And they got 8 Hall of Famers.
Well, I'm sure they took down pictures of Terry Bradshaw in Pittsburgh, right?
No.
Mean Joe Green, they got rid of all those, didn't they?
Mean Joe Green still walks around the building. I guarantee you,
should.
if he didn't see his pictures, he'd be pissed.
That's my point.
I completely. First of all, I agree with you guys. Like you have to respect the history. Let's put this in perspective. He wasn't being malicious. He had the idea of, hey, we have not had success since the greatest show on turf. Let's turn the page. He shouldn't have done that. It was a bad.
It's a dumbass
bad
idea.
look. It was a dumb idea. But he was trying to establish a culture. He made a big mistake. The bigger mistake, in my opinion,
The culture was already established.
the culture was established, but they were terrible for a while. So he was trying to say, "Hey, let's stop living in the past. Let's turn the page forward." He just did it in a bad way, and he never got a head coaching job after that. I thought the bigger issue that he had, though, was he was hiring guys that he knew wouldn't get hired in other spots. So he was hiring assistant coaches that wouldn't be plucked.
Right.
That means they're not good enough.
Yeah.
They're not good enough to be plucked. They're not good enough. You want your assistants to be taking calls from other teams for head coaching positions because they're that good.
Yeah.
You think Dan Campbell wants to see Ben Johnson leave? No, not at all. But he knows that Ben Johnson's doing a hell of a job, and he's going to get plucked someplace else.
Right.
You want that as a head coach. I thought Spags made a couple of missteps, but credit him. He has found his calling.
found a role.
He's the only coordinator in NFL history to win four Super Bowls now. So the Chiefs have their guy. His career's set. Good for him. I don't think he'll get another head coaching job.
I don't think so either.
Maybe he doesn't want it either.
Yeah, maybe he doesn't want it.
I'm staying
A lot
with
of
Patrick.
success.
Odds are he's probably being paid pretty handsomely right now.
He's probably one
What
of
does a
the.
defensive coordinator make? Couple million?
I actually don't know. Carey, do you know?
Yeah, like
NFL,
Spags?
I don't know what they make in the college. I feel like gets paid more. College, you can make a couple of mil as a coordinator. I'm not sure what they make as far as NFL coordinators.
Spags is making a couple of mil. There's no way
I'm
he's
sure
not
he
making
is.
2 or 3 sheets. There's
he's
no
not.
way.
He's 800, 900,000.
He's got to be more than that. There's no way. Even, I mean, that's still a great
That's
living.
still a great living.
Still.
Yeah. We didn't talk about this. We didn't talk about this a couple of days ago when the report actually came out. But Josh Hader admitted to something that caught all of us kind of off guard, and we're like, I can kind of see it from both sides here. We'll get into that and talk about maybe this is why the Cardinals don't pursue high-paying relievers either. That's next on 101 ESPN.
Gentlemen, the NBA basketball season is upon us, and there's so many great games to watch, so much fun. Betting all of that, too, at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. And FanDuel, what they do, Carey, they take care of new customers and existing customers all the time.
Yeah.
But right now, new customers, they get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet.
Yeah, Jamie, that's $150 in bucks if your bet wins. Bet on all your favorite NBA players and teams, quick bets, live game, same game parlays, exclusive props, and much more. You all know I'm a Steph Curry and Golden State Warriors fan.
Yeah,
They
you are.
are -3 tonight. They are winners of 7 of their last 8. I like it. Take the Warriors. Good decision.
Carey's been hot in the NBA, so follow his lead on that. But you do have to visit FanDuel.com/fast. Again, FanDuel.com/fast, where you can shoot your shot. FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Must be 21 or older and present in Illinois. First online real money wager. Only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issues, non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Josh Hader, a couple of days ago, admitted that he didn't want the Brewers to use him or overuse him in certain situations a couple of years ago before he got dealt because he was hoping for that big payday. He wanted the big payday. He didn't want to be overused. He didn't want to be put through the meat grinder before he got paid. This is one of those situations, guys, where I really feel like I get both sides of it. I want the player to be competitive. I want him to want the ball constantly, right? But there's also an element of not all players. I don't know what makes Josh Hader tick, but you guys have probably played in your respective sports with guys that just didn't care about the money. They wanted to compete at all costs, and there's probably guys that didn't give a rip about hockey. It's just what they were good at, or football, and they got paid to do it, and it was just a job for them. So maybe Hader falls into that line. He's like, I want to get a big payday, and then we'll keep going here. I don't like that in my athlete, but I'm also realistic. I understand that some guys are motivated by different things. But when it comes to the Brewers, now that we have this perspective, I would have traded his ass too. I would have traded him right when they knew.
Or do you pay him?
No, I'd trade him.
Or do you pay him? And say, fine, this is the payday you want. Here's the payday we'll give you. This is all we're giving you.
I think they were smart to deal.
Yeah, I'm not disputing that. I guess I'm just expanding the conversation a little bit.
Don't.
Well, I'm going to continue to do it just because you said don't.
When I try to look at things from a player perspective. That's initially where I always come from. Most times, you only get one opportunity to get that big contract. And if you haven't gotten it yet, you kind of got to protect yourself at all times to make sure you get it. But there is a fine line between I'm not going to play or I'm not going to do this because I don't want to get hurt and kind of leaving your teammates out to dry. So there is a fine line. If you are in a position where you're the Milwaukee Brewers and you're going to overuse me, then no, hell no. I can show up, but you're not going to use and abuse because as a player, I told you this, I told you all this. I had a coach tell me, our job is to tolerate you until we can replace you. That's every person on this roster. At some point, every man on a roster will no longer be on that roster. And the coaches, GMs, front office people, their job is to find someone that can replace you, whether it's now, that is better than you, or later on down the road when you're not as good as you are at this moment. So as a player, your job is to not be replaced. You got to work hard every single day and show up and be the best version of yourself, but also not be injured and not run yourself through the ringer for a team that maybe is trying to win a championship, maybe is not surrounding you with the pieces to win a championship, and not be, as you said, grinded to the point where there's nothing left to when you do become a free agent, you don't have anything to give.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you to pitch when I give you the damn ball. That's what I'm going to tell you to do because I don't believe.
But with that, it's also your job to protect him from hurting himself.
It is, but it's also my job to not let him be a prima donna, too.
I agree 100%.
And there's too much of that crap in baseball. There is. And I'm just going to single out that one sport because we hear about it the most. I haven't heard of too many linebackers saying, hey, coach, I need to take 3 sets of downs off because, you're overusing me, or they're running the ball too much to my side, and I'm running into people a little more than I'd like.
Probably won't hear that.
I haven't heard a defenseman in the NHL say, I'd rather not be part of the penalty kill. I'll take less ice time because, blocking those shots and playing defense, it's wearing me down, and I'm 2 years away from free agency, and I want to cash in. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm kind of highlighting baseball. And if a player ever told me that, I'd put the ball in his hand every damn day till his arm fell off. Look at what happened here in St. Louis. Vladimir Tarasenko wanted a trade. Mm-hmm. I want out of here. That's it. And the team and the doctors and I don't like this and I don't like that. Army said, okay, we'll try and trade you. Sorry, can't trade you. You're going to play every single game. And if you suck, it's going to be on you then. Yeah. So you're going to get a bad contract. So that's on you. So either don't play and we'll suspend you without play, or do play like crap and you won't get paid, or you'll play the way you're supposed to play because you want out of here so bad, so somebody actually wants to trade for you, and then somebody will actually want to pay you.
But isn't that more? I mean, when you're a pitcher and using the same, I feel like it's different for different sports.
But Carey,
overuse.
Look at you. You got Ray Lewis punching through the hole, and you're going to be like, you know what? I don't really want to get hit today. Sorry,
That's your job, right?
I mean, it's my job.
What's his job to pitch?
It is
in this motion. Is it not?
No,
Jamie, pitch underhand, I guess, if he wants.
Jamie, I'm with you on that.
I understand it from a player's perspective. Again, we all, even when players sit out, we may not have players say in the middle of the game, I'm not going to show up, but we, NFL for sure, we're not showing up to training camp. I won't be there until you sign me to the money that I'm worth. And I got a year left on my deal, but I still won't show up because I'm not going to put more stress on myself until you guarantee me the money that I know I deserve. So it may not be in the point where it happens in game, but it does happen, and I'm sure it happens in hockey where guys are fighting for a new contract and wanting to be paid and not wanting to participate until they get paid. And I think this is essentially the same thing. Josh Hader saying, you all are not going to run me into the ground because when you run me into the ground,
stay home, protect yourself.
But it's middle of the season, so you're not going to run me into. It kind of.
No,
but
Carey, I will never say
as a manager, as a coach, your job is to not run your players into the ground.
But then you can have healthy meetings with the team.
I agree, and come to an agreement. But it can't be your stance. You're going to pitch in my stance. No, I'm not. Somebody has to meet in the middle, and unless you meet in the middle, then we're both going to stand our ground and not
bring everybody in, right? So the president of baseball operations, the manager, the pitching coach, your agent, and you sit down and say, hey, he's feeling it a little bit here right now. Can we come up with a schedule, include the trainer or
I agree.
Whoever, and say, can we come up with a routine, a 7-day routine for this guy that makes sense for both the club and the player? And then if the team says, no, blank you, then okay, all of a sudden, my arm, it's a little strange. I'm going to take a week off here because I felt a tweak in my shoulder.
My arm?
My arm. Remember Caddyshack? Yeah. He goes, my arm, it's broken.
I just love how you, in the middle of the sentence.
Yeah. There you go. But that's the way I look at it. Otherwise, man, if it's just a player trying to sit there and dictate to the manager, hey, by the way, I don't take the ball 2 games in a row.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I don't agree with that.
I'd be like, get out. You've got right now to get out of my office before I have the chance to punch you in the face.
I agree with that 100%.
You could punch him in the face. You could pitch him every day, or we've seen Ali say, we've seen Ali not use a guy. Like,
sit down there.
You're going to disappear then for about a week now. And I'm not going to go to you.
Yeah, but then some other poor sucker's taking the ball 3 days in a row.
Because he wants it.
Then
his name is Chris
Maybe that's
Stratton.
why he wants it. And then he wants the guy to walk into the clubhouse and pop the guy for him.
Yeah, either way. It all works itself out, right?
Sure.
Okay. It's Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Blues Q's are next. If you've got a Blues-related question, send it into the Air Comfort Service text line at 314-399-9646. Again, Blues Q's next.
Oh, my arm. It's broken.
Hey, it's Carey, and if your energy bills are at an all-time high, it may be time to replace those windows. Window Nation is giving you 50% off of all window styles, and you will pay nothing with no interest for 2 full years. Did you know that weather can impact your windows on hot days and cold nights? It can cause the caulk to crack, seal failures, and condensation. Window Nation uses only the top-of-the-line materials, including mold spray and Quad Max sealant, toughest against all those weather conditions. Again, you're getting 50% off of all styles of windows. Your neighbors will be looking in, trying to figure out where you got these beautiful windows in your home. 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 24 months. And the best part about it, they can have your new windows installed in a day or less. Window Nation will also give you a lifetime warranty on those windows. Call 866-90-NATION or go online at windownation.com. Window Nation has installed over 200,000 windows just last year. All they do is windows. They are experts. Reach out to them today, 866-90-NATION. 90 Nation or visit them online at windownation.com.
Now, it's time for the Fast Lane's Blues Cues.
302, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler.
I got a question for you real quick. How does it feel to work with children? Like because you are the only adult in here.
Boy. Carey.
When we come back every break, either myself or Jamie is asking you, what are we doing?
What are we doing here? Jamie, 2 segments ago, as the music is playing, what are we doing here? Carey, as the music's playing, what are we doing here?
Or the FanDuel. Hey, we're doing this.
FanDuel. Which one we got? The sad part is, Carey, you call me the adult. If I'm the adult, boy, we're all in trouble.
Yeah, buddy.
I think I might be the adult.
You actually might
Marsh.
be.
That's not good.
The younger brother's taking care of the 3 older idiots.
Oh, man.
Poor
Every day.
Anthony, though, like, seriously, he's had to deal with Dunk, which, I mean, everybody loves Dunk, and I love listening to Dunk. Like, awesome.
Yeah.
But you had Dunk, then you had BT, then you had me and BT, and now you got Carey and me.
Right.
Poor Anthony, I mean, he's really been set up.
Holding it together, man.
What have you done?
Proud of you.
What did you do to Tommy to piss him off?
No. Listen, nobody knows who the hell I am without Dunk, Jamie, BT, and Carey. That's just a fact,
you
man.
are the guy.
I appreciate you guys. You kidding me? All right, so it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Let's get into some Blues cues via the Air Comfort Service tax line at 314-399-9646. Go ahead, Marsh.
All right, let's start off with the 314. Would Jordan Kyrou get less criticism if he was a $6 or $7 million player? Robert Thomas is a clear step above in terms of consistency. Just don't see the level of consistency out of Kyrou to justify $8 million ... yet.
For sure.
Yes,
like if Jordan Kyrou was making $3 million right now, people are like, oh, that's the best bargain ever. I don't care if he ever plays defense. But, I guess, and justifiably so, the price tag means that you a certain level of play from that person. One thing was interesting, I'd have to look for it, but somebody had posted the stats for Robert Thomas parallel to the stats for Jordan Kyrou from an offensive standpoint since they've been in the league. And there's like no difference between them. Like very small, and I think that Kyrou actually has more goals. So it's like you're sitting there going, well, he's not worth $8 million. And I understand Robert Thomas is a better all-around player. But Jordan Kyrou, who gets crapped on for, inconsistent play or this, his numbers are right there, like parallel.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting. So is he an $8 million player? I don't know. Is he $6 million right now? Maybe. But yeah, I mean,
it's gonna if you're making that amount and you're not Connor McDavid, people are gonna have some issues with it.
Is it with Jordan Kyrou is the issue because it comes in spurts? Like you get a hat trick. the points and the goals and the assists.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Happen in spurts. Mm-hmm. Yeah, is that
as you were? I didn't say anything.
Children. Is that why he gets so much? Why he gets talked about in the terms in the way that he does?
Because the lows are low, right? And I think that's the thing is that for Robert Thomas, the dips aren't as severe, and when there are dips, he takes big face-offs, he kills penalties, he plays last minute of the game, so you kind of overlook it, right? But with Jordan Kyrou, when he's not scoring, like not much else happening, so like the dip is big,
right?
But then when the high is there, the high is high. So, yeah, you're 100% right. I guess the top performance and the bottom performance, there's a bigger gap there for Jordan Kyrou. So therefore, it's easier to be like, well, my goodness,
not doing good enough.
Yeah,
when it's not going well.
From the 217, is it humanly possible to stop McJesus, or do you just have to hope that he has an off day?
Yeah, like I'm hoping he eats like undercooked chicken, and
nothing
he's got to
too
strap
serious,
himself to the bowl for the day.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That guy's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. He's two strides and he's into scoring position every single time. 2 strides, he's on a breakaway. Like it's in the offensive zone. He takes 2 hard crossovers and he's in a scoring spot.
Right.
And you're like, what now? He's scary, man.
He does, though, struggle against Colton Parayko.
He does. And he flat out told me face to face that he's one of the hardest guys in the league to play against. Well, hopefully he will see a lot of Colton Parayko tomorrow night, too.
Those players are remarkable to watch. I mean, when Nathan McKinnon a couple of years ago against the Blues in the playoffs, when he went coast to coast and you're watching him and you can almost see the line of thinking is, I'm just going to go ahead and score now. And then he does. You're watching somebody special. And McDavid's on another planet, too.
Nathan McKinnon skates like Isaiah Pacheco runs.
Yeah. He gallops.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So for those guys, the strategy is pretty simple. You try to make sure that you always have somebody that is on the defensive side of the puck, and you try to make sure you always have guys in the middle of the ice. That's it. You give him the wide route, you let him go, and hopefully he skates himself into bad ice or he skates himself back in the middle to coverage. To chase a guy like that around the ice is pointless. He's going to expose you at some point. Maybe not the first shift or the second shift, but maybe the third shift, and you're going to get danced out of your boots, and he's going to put one in the back of the net, and you're going to feel like an a-hole out there. So you got to stay disciplined, take away the middle of the ice, and just contain them. Keep them to the outside and limit the damage.
Imagine getting burned on a one-on-one, and you're like, I'm an a-hole.
I've been walked on a one-on-one and wanted to dig 6 feet under the ice. And you're like on home ice too, and it's like the whole building. And
Don't look at him. Look at him.
Then the goalie never saves it. It's like, I don't want to. Sorry, Riv. I got blinded for a minute.
The look of your teammates when you're going back is like, hey.
If it's a bad player, they're like, oh, what the hell? But if it's like McDavid, you're like, I feel you, bro. I've been there.
Been there.
Yeah, have you ever been walked and then go to the bench? You're like, man, that was a good move.
Yeah, a couple times. You walked and you're like, I mean,
and then I can do by that.
You look at your partner, you're like, I really had nothing I could do there.
I don't have that skill set.
I did not anticipate him doing that.
I did not see that coming.
From the 618, is there concern to be had with the Blues player development? I hate seeing players like Vince Dunn and Jake Wallman move on to succeed when it was obvious each one of them had talent.
But don't you have to include Jake Neighbors? Don't you have to include some of these other young players that are
Robert
coming
Thomas,
up?
Jordan Kyrou.
Yeah.
Yeah, you may want to include those guys, I mean, they're pretty good. Golden Perico.
No offense to
You developed him.
Yeah, no offense to the session, but I do think we tend to only look at the guys that went on and had success, and not ever circle back to the guys that are actually having success on your own team. We do this with the Cardinals too.
Wrong team.
It's like, we lose our minds because we see Randy Rosarina go on or Luke Voigt for just a short period of time. It's like, why couldn't they do that here? Okay, Tommy Edman, Brendan Donovan. Who else?
Jordan Walker,
Lars Nootbaar. Like, these are all young guys.
I think maybe they're thinking about talent evaluation more than development, because I think that those guys. And let's not forget here, when Vince Dunn was left unprotected, like, you had a deep defensive core at the time. You had 6 guys that were players. Like, he wasn't really breaking your lineup. He was in your bottom 2 defense pair. Was bottom line. And Jake Wallman, no offense to Jake Wallman, he's a very skilled individual. He's not gonna, split the atom anytime soon. And I watched him play last night, and the same crap he did as a Blues player, he did last night. He got burned for 3 goals in the third period, where you're wondering, what area code is this guy's head in right now?
But you see him doing the gritty in overtime, and you're like, this guy, he was, why is he not on our team?
Yeah, but
we didn't need him.
That's the problem, is you see him scoring a goal, but you didn't see the 59 other minutes of the game where he made, umpteen amount of mistakes. Right. I'm not saying these guys are bad players. They're good players. They're playing fine, but they both got put into situations where the team wasn't that great, so they were allowed to kind of figure it out. Vince Dunn went to an expansion team. Figure it out. And now he has. Jake Wallman went to the Red Wings, who were terrible for a couple of years, and he's figured it out.
It's kind of like Jets fans watching McCole Hardman catch the game-winning touchdown and be like, we didn't need him. Like, I don't think you're really missing him that much.
Well, no one was going to throw him the ball anyways.
That's why he was wide
open. You and I were thinking the same thing. Don't worry about him. He'll fumble it, I'm sure. Oh, damn, he caught it.
Last one here from the 573. I got 2 tickets for tomorrow's game. What are some things to look out for when I get up there?
Connor McDavid.
Leon
Draisaitl.
They're pretty good players.
I think he meant like things around the arena.
Yeah, I know this is crazy. I don't even know if I've ever really walked the concourse.
It's a nice concourse.
Ever. Think, because as a player,
I played.
And now
I'm down between the benches.
So you take the elevator either all the way up or all the way down.
I don't even go all the way up anymore.
That's hilarious.
I walk in the building, walk down these stairs, and then I walk past the locker room, and that's my spot for the day.
Right.
You should do it one day.
Walk around the concourse?
Just to get the experience.
I'm good.
They're probably going to stop you and talk to you.
Yeah, that's fine. I love talking to people, Carey.
I know.
They're awesome. I'm not one who could say, by the way, don't miss this, don't miss that. I know they got a Shake Shack in there.
Because our line is usually long.
Our girl, Kim Eberly, which, by the way, let's wish her all the best. She's in the hospital right now. She's got a little something going on. She's getting better, though. She'll be battling back. But Kim Eberly takes care of everybody over at Bally Sports Midwest. And in the games, sometimes she'll sneak away and come back, and all of a sudden she's got a little box full of Shake Shack. And you're like, give me that. I make a cookie.
Jamie, you there?
Mustard all over my shirt. It happened one night. It happened. And she had to get the soda water, and then Ray Barilli had some stain remover. Meanwhile, I'm like, can you see it if my tie's over here?
You kind of are a hidden mess when it comes to that stuff. A secret mess.
Oh, yeah.
You spill stuff on your shirt all the time.
I'm savage.
Yeah, you are.
Might just have to go tarps off on the broadcast.
We could.
Yeah.
We could.
There you go.
I told JK, let's go tarps off. He's like, no, I'm good.
No, Jamie, I don't think I'll be doing that.
He said, well, why are you talking to me? No, we're not doing that. Why would you do that?
Jamie looks like Dean Portman in Mighty Ducks 3.
That's right. Darn right he does. It's a fast lane on 101 at ESPN. Cardinals rotation, their age has been a big topic of conversation for fans. John Mozeliak addressed the age
great quote
of the starting rotation. I wouldn't have gone that route, but hey, you do you. We'll tell you what he said and talk about whether or not the age is a problem next on 101 ESPN. One of the things I really like that AutoCentersNissan.com does is they tell you how many new vehicles they have. 231 new vehicles today. Sometimes it's upward of 300, sometimes a little lower, but at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum, they're always getting new vehicles in, whether you're looking at new Nissans or pre-owned vehicles. They have over 700 vehicles on their lot. It's at one location, too. You don't have to drive around, go to one dealership, and they said, you know what, the car you're looking for? It's actually at our other location, 40 minutes from now. No, Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum, one spot, one location, great dealership. It's still fairly brand new. It certainly shows that way. They do a great job of taking care of you from sale to service. They got financing options for everyone, whether you have good credit or bad credit, it doesn't matter. Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum, if you need a vehicle, they're going to set you up with a car that you want and get you to a monthly payment that you're going to feel good about. They also give you a 30-day return promise within 30 days. If you bring the vehicle back for any reason, that's no problem. Okay, they give you a 30-day window to bring it back, and they'll refund you on the price there. Or when it comes to the lifetime warranty, complimentary lifetime warranty, that comes with all new Nissans as well. Again, they take care of you. It's Auto Centers Nissan and AutoCentersNissan.com. John Den tweeted out the John Mozela quotes earlier today on the age of his pitching staff. Mo said, unlike our upcoming presidential election, I'm not overly concerned about age in this current state. I do feel like what we missed a lot last year was more experience. He continued, when you're trying to take or tie age and experience together, it's usually common. Going down that path, we knew that it was likely where we'd end up with an older staff. Are you guys concerned at all? First of all, Mo, I mean, I think he brings up a really good point about when you're trying to get experience a lot of times goes hand in hand with age. Are you guys concerned at all about the age of the starting rotation?
A little bit.
I'm not for this season. What does it matter this season?
Well, if you think about last season, that we talked about it, 3 of those guys are in the top 5 in hits allowed. I mean, people will say, oh, well, that's because they pitched a lot of innings. Cool. That's great. but they still were top 5. One of them gave up the most home runs in Major League Baseball. That's a bit concerning, and until they show otherwise, you don't get unless you're LeBron James. He's probably the only person. Tom Brady, you can name the guys that got better and kept staying good as they got older. Most of us usually get worse, get a step slower, get a little bit weaker, not as strong as you were when you were 31 in comparison to 32 or 34 in comparison to 35. The older you get, the more your body tends to start to break down. There are only a few that tend to go the other way. And so, yeah, for me, that's a bit of a concern. But I will have to see how they look, how they perform, and what they're doing.
This is where I'm coming from, though. If none of these guys outside of Sonny Gray is a part of the future for the Cardinals. You're looking at guys like Tink Hence and Gordon Graceffo and Michael McGreevy. I mean, you hope that all of these guys, maybe it's Akoa Roby, you're hoping that all of these guys will come up. It's not realistic that they'll all come up and make an impact, but that's at least what you're hoping for. But when it comes to Lance Lynn and Kyle Gibson, they're on one-year deals. So if they were to break down in a one-year deal, let's say they suffer an injury, it is more incumbent that you have the guys in your minor league system to come up and make an impact, because that's also they're not only a part of your present in that situation, but your future.
It would be less concerning if you didn't lose 91 games last year. And speaking to what you're saying, because if they break down and have injuries and you have to go the youth route and those guys aren't ready, you're probably going to have another 90-loss season. And so that plays into it as well. I think if you made it to the playoffs, or if you were 81-81, if you were just 500, okay. But you had one of the worst seasons that I've ever seen. I'm 42 years old. I've never seen a Cardinal team perform that I can recall perform that poorly. So if what you're saying is, yeah, they're on one-year deals, but this is a critical year in my opinion. Your manager is on his final year. What are you going to do if Steven Matz breaks down, because he has in the past, and Lance Lynn is older, Kyle Gibson is older? If they don't perform or are not able to perform at a high level, that's concerning.
But you signed these guys. Like, you signed Lance Lynn, you signed Kyle Gibson. Wouldn't that still be the case? You'd still be coming off a 91-loss season, even if you were going to go with imagine the Cardinals going with a young rotation. They say, hey, we're going to go with all the internal options. We'd still be saying, you're coming off a 91-loss season. I think there'd be more pressure, quite frankly.
I think the problem that people have with this is that they signed both Lance Lynn and Kyle Gibson.
Sure.
I think had you signed one or the other, and then you had your current rotation, or you signed another mid-rotation guy that's a little bit younger, I don't think you'd hear as much noise about it. I think the fact that you signed two elder statesmen is the issue. And to the point of the injury thing, it's real. Like, it can happen. To older players are definitely more susceptible, especially in a pitching delivery, like the shoulder, the elbow, like the strain everything is there. So I think it's a legit concern that you signed two guys that are, so experienced.
Sure,
we'll call it.
But they're still on one-year deals. So I don't care about the age.
I'm with you. Okay?
If they break down, it's like, okay, well, at least they're on one-year deals.
It doesn't hurt you next year. You're right. It's not like you signed these guys to multi-year deals and then, oh my gosh, they got hurt and now we're screwed. But it screws you up for this year. That's my point.
If you don't have the depth.
If you don't have the depth, if your guys aren't ready, and you signed two older guys, and one of them or both of them breaks down, now you're screwed. You're back in that situation where you were a year ago, where you put all your eggs in one basket and thought it was going to work. It didn't, and it just imploded on you.
Right, and I'm with you on that. I would not have signed both guys either. I agree.
Hopefully they make us eat our words.
Yeah, that'd be nice. It would. It'd be great. The Cardinals, though, so this all comes back to, in my opinion, what the Cardinals were looking for, because they clearly were not looking to completely revamp their rotation. If they did, they would have been more aggressive when it came to maybe acquiring Jamison Tyone or Dylan Cease, or signing somebody that was younger, Jordan Montgomery, for example, right? Like, really being aggressive with it. So, but you're right. So that was never going to happen. The Cardinals were, but that wasn't their goal. Their goal was to sign three guys, have them eat, really focus on eating innings and not be tied up long term, because they do have a stable of young guys that they hope at some point will be the bedrock of the rotation.
They're definitely looking to hand the baton off.
Sure.
You've got Graceffo, McGreevy, and Hentz. That's 3 guys who they're predicting to be in their rotation in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
So if this 1-year deal of experienced guys gets you over the hump, gets you to the next year, and then if they pitch well enough to make you second guess it again, or one of them, let's say Lance Lynn has, a turnaround season to where the home runs aren't being given up, he's getting the innings, he's getting the strikeouts. Not that he's an all-star, but he's maybe a 4 or 5 in your rotation. What the hell? Let's run it back for another year, Lance. And then, by the way, McGreevy's joining the rotation too next year. So then Steven Matz or Kyle Gibson, maybe those are one of the guys you move on from. Or maybe it's flipped where it's Gibby that has a great year in your... So the best case scenario is that those 2 guys stay healthy, and one of them in particular rises to the top, so that now you can add a young guy next year, hang on to some veteran presence, and that's the best way to make the transition. If you're the Cardinals and you want to remain competitive, that's the best way to do it.
Yep.
Otherwise, you just clear house of all the older guys, and you just say, all right, young boys, your turn, go.
Yeah,
and we just deal with it.
Exactly. I think that's coming. I think the fact that they lost 91 games last year, premeditated. They had premeditated plans here. They lost 91 games last year. So what were they going to do? They were going to go the cautious route. We're going to bring in 3 veteran pitchers. If they finished 3rd last year or 2nd last year and just missed out on the wild card, I think we would have seen them, and this is just my opinion, but I think we would have seen them probably go the youth route. Say goodbye to Adam Wainwright, maybe attempt to re-sign Jordan Montgomery, but likely let go of Jack Flaherty, move on from him if he didn't show anything, and then go to the youth route, because it's like, hey, our team is just there. We got a little bit of a youth movement. We're going to roll the dice with these young guys. But instead, you had one of the worst seasons in Cardinals history. You got your face punched in. So if you turn around to your fan base and say, hey, last year stunk, we're going to roll the dice on these young guys, it wouldn't have worked. So they went the other route and said, we're going to be very super cautious.
You wouldn't have got your $3 million through the gate.
No.
And I think that's one thing that John Mozeliak was very aware of, and I think that's why he chose his words very strategically when last year was turning into an ish show.
Yeah.
He started talking about, well, we're going to address the pitching at the deadline. Pitching. And like, he overdid it to the point to where, like, don't worry, guys, we got you. Like, hey, fan base, we're good.
Yeah.
Keep coming through those gates.
Right.
Keep buying those $14 beers.
Please.
Please.
Yeah.
So we can go get another 47-year-old starter.
47?
It's experience.
37.
They didn't sign, what's his face?
Rich Hill.
Not yet. They'll acquire him at the deadline.
He's not available.
They'll acquire him at the deadline.
Somebody else signed him.
Yeah. It's a fast lane on 101 ESPN. We have Prove Me Wrong next, so we'll enter the honorable courtroom of Andrew Marsh. If you have a Prove Me Wrong statement, send it in the Air Comfort Service tax line to 314-399-9646. Prove Me Wrong next on 101 ESPN.
Are you looking to upgrade your kitchen or your bathroom? My guy Carey's talking about doing a whole kitchen renovation. What I tell him? I say, go visit my friends over at E&B Granite. They are the best in the business. They absolutely love making sure that the customers are completely satisfied, and they take pride in their work. And they've got an amazing showroom. Just go down to Manchester Avenue and tell them that Jamie Rivers sent you in. And then, look, sometimes you know exactly what you want to do, which is great. Then the sales associate is there to just hold your hand along the way and get you to the finish line. But what if you don't know what you're looking for, which is more like me and I'm sure Carey. We're looking at things we don't really know what we're doing, but that's why we go to E&B Granite. Cabinets, countertops are unbelievable, and the installation is always impeccable. And when you're talking about countertops, they've got granite, they've got quartz, they've got marble, they've got soapstone, and they have it all on location, so you can go look at it in the back of the warehouse and see exactly what it is you're going to get. And I absolutely love using E&B Granite for all of those specific details. So please give them a call, set up an appointment. That number's 314-645-9300, or you can visit them at enbgranite.com.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues lost last night to the Toronto Maple Leafs by a final score of 4-1. They'll take on the Edmonton Oilers, who won last night 8-4 against the Red Wings. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They'll go up against the Oilers tomorrow night. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7, and you can catch all the action right here on 101 ESPN. We'll talk with Jeremy Rutherford later in the show in the 4 o'clock hour, our Blues insider from The Athletic, so stay tuned for that. Coming up next, though, we have Prove Me Wrong. So if you have a Prove Me Wrong statement you want to send our way, do so using the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. Prove Me Wrong coming up next. I'm Andrew March, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by
Saliga
Heating and Cooling, independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Prove me wrong, kids. Prove me wrong.
It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Time for Prove Me Wrong. It's where you make a statement. Carey, Jamie, and I have to prove you wrong. Marsh is the judge. All right, Honorable Judge Andrew Marsh, what do you got for us?
All right, let's start off with a tough one here from the 636. Prove me wrong. The Bennington-Hofer duo has a future as Jennings Trophy recipients.
You know, when it comes to these two guys, I think Hofer's got a long way to go. You see some flashes of Joel Hofer playing well, and then there's other games where it's like, does he even know what he's doing? You know what I mean? He's a big guy, so the athleticism isn't always there. What I like to see in my goalie is somebody that is quiet in the crease. He's not always quiet in the crease. A lot of times he's out too far. He's giving up too much space. I think we're getting way ahead of ourselves when it comes to those two being award winners.
336. Anthony hates Joel Hofer.
That was a brutal one, though, Marshy. You know what? I didn't like that at all. I'd like
Don't blame me.
I'd like a retrial with a better question. Because those two are capable of it. That's the total sewer. That's why I couldn't answer. I'm like, Anthony, you got this one. I wouldn't be able to do it with a straight face. You did the best.
You did a great job.
Hey, you know what? You guys want an easy one? Here's an easy one from the 618. Prove me wrong. The Cardinals have a better chance at the World Series than the Fast Lane has at having a show where everyone is present.
Are you kidding me right now? The Cardinals have a better chance of winning a World Series. And first of all, we're all present right now.
Indeed.
And I guarantee you the Cardinals are going to win a World Series. Have you seen the starting rotation? Hey, you love that offense, huh? That offense finished fourth in runs scored in the NL Central. Notice how I didn't say in all of baseball or even the National League. I said the NL Central. You got teams that aren't even trying. The Pittsburgh Pirates aren't technically a major league team. The only reason why everybody says, the Pirates aren't that bad is because the Oakland A's exist. You got Cincinnati not trying. You got Milwaukee trading off their best players again. They didn't even say the manager can stick around or the president of baseball operation got rid of both those guys. Come on. Really?
Well said.
The Cardinals. Yeah. The Cardinals are going to win. They're not even trying. They're half trying. It's an average team, average
at least
effort.
We try to have a full show.
Yeah. All the time.
We're here today. You here tomorrow?
Yeah.
That's 2 in a row.
And I'll be here the next day, too.
It's called a winning streak.
There you go.
Yes.
I don't think the Cardinals have too many.
Yesterday-ish. I was on the show.
I don't think the Cardinals have too many winning streaks in their future. I rest my case.
Well said, Anthony. Well said. From the 661, prove me wrong. The Battlehawks will struggle with attendance and viewership this season with its timing during baseball, MLS, and hopefully playoff hockey.
Listen. This person clearly has not watched the Battlehawks last year or the first version of the Battlehawks. It didn't matter. The only thing that did stop the Battlehawks in their attendance was an entire pandemic.
Right.
That's the only thing that could keep those fans from showing up at that dome and showing up and showing out. They love the Battlehawks. You know why? Because they are starving for good football. And what did the Battlehawks give them last year? Anthony Beck, great head coach, my former teammate, great man. Anthony, great name, did a great job. And guess what? Not only do they get the Battlehawks back, guess who else is back? A.J. McCarron.
The magic man himself.
The magic man said, you know what, Cincinnati Bengals, NFL, what the hell we want with you? Bring me back to St. Louis, baby. I want to be here. I want to be there for those fans. And guess who's going to show up? All of the fans. Marshy's going to be there, top bowling it.
Oh, yeah.
He will be there.
Yeah.
Very top.
As will you.
I even have a custom shirt that I made.
That's you.
Yeah.
That would be custom, right?
That's my custom.
Well, I mean, it's possible. I could get a custom shirt that was made by somebody else.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
That's
you
true.
made it yourself.
I made it myself.
Yeah.
I painted it. It says Battlehawk fan on it.
Nice. Yeah. Look at you.
So good.
And I'll be up there in the 400 section. Don't you worry.
Yeah, baby.
Good job, Carey. From the 314, prove me wrong. John Mozeliak has done an exceptional job as general manager based off what he's done with the resources and budget given by ownership, and the fan base is going to miss him when he's gone because they're going to realize nothing will change with the new GM because it's still the same ownership.
They're going to miss him? They're not going to miss anything. They're not going to miss him, his bow tie, his Mo fashions, nothing.
Whoa.
You think he's been a good general manager, good president. Did you see the record last year? He's lucky it wasn't that way the year before. The lack of preparation for the rotation for 2 years in a row and then switching gears. And I mean, like we didn't even have a pitching lab. Someone mentioned a pitching lab, and John Mozeliak said, "Tell me more about this pitching lab." Literally, I quote, "Tell me more, Sonny Gray. I need to listen." That does not scream to me like somebody who's equipped to be doing the job. And then his answer to all of us, let's just bring back people I know because at least I know them. No chance of that happening. No one will miss the Pope.
Not great.
Nice job, Jamie.
Well done.
Low-hanging fruit.
Ruthless but fair.
All right, from the 980, prove me wrong. Michael Vick is the best overall talent-wise quarterback to ever play in the NFL. And if the legal situation would not have happened, he would have been an NFL Hall of Famer.
Guys.
Okay, first of all, you want it's tough for you too.
It is.
Yeah. It won't be tough for me. It is. It won't be tough for me. Yeah, you run around and you play schoolyard football. Great, good for you. And then you throw 100 miles an hour at a guy's 3 feet from you. How the hell is he going to catch that ball? You're breaking fingers more than records out there when you're Michael Vick. Never mind the legal stuff. We'll stay away from that because that was enough for a lifetime. But just alone, who knows how he could read a defense and all that stuff. If he was that good, he had a team. He had a team that could have won a championship. Did they win?
No.
No, they didn't. Why not? He couldn't get the job done. Bottom line.
He hated playing in the cold, too.
He didn't like the cold. Boo, it's cold in here. No.
It was cold there.
Hall of Fame, nothing. He didn't have the entire package to go wrong to win, first of all, or to be a Hall of Famer. Enough of Michael Vick in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, you were on a roll there, but sorry.
Where did I lose it?
What happened? Where did he lose it?
Where did I lose it?
Michael Vick, not a Hall of Famer if all these things don't happen? Are you serious?
Anthony, you don't even believe that. It wasn't my case.
Well, neither of you
because you didn't
wanted
want
it.
to take it.
Of course.
Carey didn't either.
Well, the law firm of Davis, Rivers, and Stalter,
Put our best person on the case for that one.
When we won the NFC once. Didn't even win the NFC championship.
He did not.
No. You give him a Hall of Fame. Well, you're just giving away ribbons over there. That's it. Today's new world.
Yep, that's true, Jamie. Well said.
Oh, well.
Last one here.
Good effort.
I tried, man.
From the 217, prove me wrong. 2 Cardinal pitchers will go 150 innings this season.
Carey, this is you.
They will go.
Yeah.
They will not go. I mean, how old are these guys? What are we talking about? I mean, do you mean combined 150 innings? Yeah. But if you're talking about individually, hell no. How is that going to happen?
You'd have to get past 4 innings.
You would have to do that, and then I mean, are we talking about relievers? Maybe, but not a starter. I don't see how that happens. The injuries that could potentially happen. I told you all earlier. The older you get, the more your body tends to break down. It's a little bit harder to stay, in the game when you get older and past your prime. And I think last year we got a pretty good glimpse of that from some of these guys in terms of their statistical categories that they were leading in that should not be leading in. So therefore, I'm going to have to say not happening.
Well done, Davis.
I like it.
If I had those glasses on my face right now, I'd give you an X, but I can't do it.
Oh, nice.
Nicely done, buddy.
Way to go. Way to end on a win.
I was going to say, wait, let's end there.
Yep. That'll do it. Judge, we'll see you next week. There was something that we were talking about in the office today that made Jamie go, see, I told you. We'll tell you what it is next on 101 ESPN.
A lot of things. your performance at Pure Performance, your one-stop shop for all aftermarket modifications. Pure Performance are known for their top quality work and outstanding customer service. All you have to do is stop by their facility, 25,000 square foot facility. It's the largest showroom in the area, and you can find anything you want there, from lift kits, leveling kits, oversized tires. I mean, just anything you want. Lighting kits, they have you covered, and all you have to do is walk in, ask for Shelby, tell Shelby that Jamie Rivers sent you in, and then she's going to ask you what kind of vehicle you're driving, and it could be anything. It could be a pickup truck, a Jeep, a Bronco, could even be a minivan. And once you establish that, she's going to ask you what your budget is, and then Pure Performance gives you the maximum amount of product for your budget, and the technicians, of course, do an incredible job of putting it all together for you. And while you're there, if you need anything else done to your vehicle, it's a full-service garage, so they've got you completely taken care of. You'll go there, you get anything you want, tune-up, oil change, new wiper blades, headlights, alongside all of your modifications. When you go to pick up your vehicle, you're absolutely going to love it. So please, stop by in person. If not, get there online at pureperformance.com. That's pure, P-U-R, performance.com.
It's a fast lane on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsham, Anthony Stalter. We've gotten a lot of text messages about what has happened in Kansas City. Hey, aren't you guys going to talk about this? First and foremost, prayers to everybody in KC right now. There were shots fired as the Chiefs were doing their Super Bowl victory parade. So shots were fired. reportedly right now, and we're not. First of all, we're not reporters. Second of all, we're not there. Okay, so we're going off of the information that's available on Twitter and on the NFL Network, which we have on right now. The NFL Network is reporting 8 to 10 people injured after the shooting. We've seen other reports that 9 have been injured, one has been killed. We have no idea how many shooters there were. Who were doing the shooting? Why we're doing the shooting? I understand that you guys want more information. All we can do is provide you the information that we're also seeing on Twitter. I don't know how to be.
Well, we got to be careful too.
That. Exactly, because we don't
a lot
wanna,
of things just get said.
Yes, there's video of people tackling one suspected shooter in one of the clips here. If that's the case, and they tackled somebody that actually was one of the shooters or the shooter. That is incredible acts of bravery, and good for them for recognizing that this could have been one of the shooters and bringing him down. Other than that, I don't know what else to say outside of, again, our thoughts and our prayers are with the people that were at the parade that, certainly at the very least, scared out of their minds, and more so anybody that had a family member injured or a friend injured or killed.
Well, you go there to enjoy the day. You're supposed to be there to celebrate the team that you love in a great moment. It's just a shame that there'll be people of any age that now the memory will be this.
Yeah.
Right.
I just, I can't imagine that moment. You're there, as you said, to celebrate a great victory, something that,
unifies the city.
Yeah, everyone is supposed to be, it's a joyous occasion. Everyone's supposed to be there having fun, having a good time. And then, maybe 1 or 2 people or a few people make a dumb decision and do something like this, and it ruins it. And as you said, this becomes the lasting memory for this day, which was supposed to be celebrating your team that just won another Super Bowl. Now your memory of this day, February 14, 2024, is, I was at that parade when gunshots went off. And it's not it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that we have so many instances like that in this country. But, for that moment, for that time, I think that's a tough thing to deal with. And it's going to be a lasting memory for those that were present.
It just sucks for everybody. Whether you're a fan that was there or whether you're a part of the team that is celebrating now. Now, how about anybody who's watching that going, no, now we're supposed to continue to celebrate?
Right,
yeah.
no, you can't. Right.
It's a tough go, man. It's awful. So just sucks, man. And we'll try to update everybody as much as we can. But again, we're going to tread very carefully to make sure that we're giving factual information so that you can hear that instead of just whatever people are, thinking happened.
Yeah, this is a situation where, Jamie, I completely agree with you. We can't just be it makes no sense for us to speculate 4.5 hours away, not having nobody there. It's a terrible situation, and I hope that not more people were injured and or suffered any fatal injuries after this. But best we can do is provide you what others are reporting. But as of right now, and I'm seeing the number right now, Andrew Siciliano on NFL Network says 10 to 15 people were injured, 1 deceased after the shooting around Union Station after the Chiefs' victory parade. So that's the latest right now. 10 to 15 people injured, 1 deceased after shooting around Union Station. Again, no idea how many gunmen there were, whether there's one or multiple. Don't know if I'm assuming that they would be in custody, but we don't know.
I would hope that the injuries are not from gunshots. Sometimes people get trampled and stepped on and knocked over and things like that happen. So best case scenario, that's part of some of those injuries. Obviously, one person is passed on, which you never want to have. It's hard to even think about something like how many kids were there, how many kids may have not gone to school today to partake in that and be around it, and families, and just the moment was supposed to be, as I said, a joyous occasion, and now it's not.
Mm-hmm. So again, the latest, and the mayor of Kansas City is speaking now live on the NFL Network. We can't hear the audio, but 10 to 15 people were injured at the Chiefs' Super Bowl victory parade. 1 deceased after the shooting occurred at Union Station. We'll continue to provide updates as they come in, but hopefully this is the end of it. But now you got a whole investigation going on and things like that. So, again, we'll keep you updated. All right, we'll take a quick break. Then we'll come back with the Gauntlet. Do we need a Gauntlet contestant, Marsh? I guess we do.
I just got one.
All right, so we're all set for the Gauntlet. Whoever it is has an opportunity to take on the full field here. So we'll play the Gauntlet next on 101 ESPN. If you're anything like my wife, Chris, and I, you want to make sure that when you're doing a remodel, you do it right. And that means finding the right companies, and you want to make sure that you're not spending too much, you're not being taken advantage of. Call Mosby Building Arts. You will not be disappointed. A lot of times, we as homeowners, we get into these situations where we start to make all these phone calls because we think we're saving a bunch of money, or we hear that one price from like a big box store, and they haven't even been in our home. They have no idea what we're trying to do. They just give us a rough estimate, and we think we're going to save all this money. Then you're paying a lot more for shoddy work, not at Mosby. And Mosby Building Arts, they do a fantastic job of taking care of customers that wish they called the first time. For example, they've heard comments like, that didn't go well. Their previous contractor didn't go well. We should have used you, Mosby, in the first place. It was thrilling. You actually answered your phone. You have no idea how many companies just never call back. Mosby does a great job while they're going through your project, right? Whether you're remodeling a kitchen or a basement or a bathroom, they have somebody that is there each and every week that is checking in to make sure that your project is going smoothly. Call Mosby at 314-909-1800. Big project, small project, doesn't matter. They'll do it all, and they'll do it all right, and you're going to make sure that you go through the absolute best. So again, 314-909-1800, or visit callmosby.com. It's Mosby Building Arts, the right modeling company.
Four warriors, four categories, one challenger. Can you master the Gauntlet?
The Gauntlet is powered by Master, your hometown source for business communications for more than 30 years. Visit Mastor.com.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN, where it's 4 o'clock. Your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler, with Carey Davis and Andrew Marsh and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter, and we welcome in Armin, who's our latest contestant here in the Gauntlet. What's up, Armin?
Hey, guys. How are you doing? Thanks for having me on. Real quick, before we get into the Gauntlet, I just want to share my condolences and sympathies and prayers to everybody affected at the Super Bowl parade today.
Yeah, well said, Armin. Well said. We're certainly trying to keep tabs on what's going on in Kansas City, but well said. We're certainly thinking about everybody that's been impacted there as well. Armin, you have the full field here. Would you like to take on Marsh, Carey, Jamie, or me today?
You know, I have a really good feeling that I'm going to win today with my little 2-year-old in the back as my good luck charm. I want revenge, and I want Marsh.
Oh.
Wow. All right.
Oh,
so
man.
Marsh got you the first time, Armin?
Marsh got me actually the first 2 times. This is my 3rd time on. So,
wow.
Okay, so
Well, you do know that Marshy, he likes to rip the soul out of nice people.
yes.
And now that you mentioned that your 2-year-old's in the car,
yeah.
I worry that Marshy's going to put up an 8 spot.
Oh, man. All
well,
right.
you know what? Some things change, and that change happens right now.
There we go.
All right. I like the confidence. All right. Well,
Nice.
before Marsh makes his way to the cone of silence, Armin, tell him to spin the wheel.
Marsh, you do me a favor and spin that wheel.
Armin, what categories did you get the first 2 times that when Marsh beat you?
This is going to sound really ridiculous, but I lost to Marsh, and both categories were random. So I'm hoping for something less random.
Okay. The way they're laughing,
Armin,
I would assume it's random, but I can't see the wheel.
It's pretty random.
It looks pretty random to me.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty random.
Well,
you got random again.
You got random again.
That's okay.
Hey, you know what? You said change is coming. You want to beat him in random. So you're going to have your opportunity right now. As you know, Armin, you're going to get 4 questions, all random. Marsh is going to get the same 4 questions today. Each question is worth 2 points unless you ask for the options or Marsh asks for the options. And then those questions are only worth 1 point. Are you ready, Armin?
Let's do it to it.
Question number 1. What type of farm did Taylor Swift grow up on? What type of farm did Taylor Swift grow up on?
Give me the option.
Yeah, good call. A pig farm, a Christmas tree farm, or a dairy farm?
Something tells me Christmas farm, final answer.
All right. Question number 2. The Dallas Cowboys defeated the Buffalo Bills in Super Bowl 27 at the Rose Bowl in 1993. Who performed during the halftime show?
Yeah, I'm going to need those options again.
All right. Was it Michael Jackson, Garth Brooks, or Diana Ross?
Man, you said 1993, so I would have been 3 years old. The only thing that I can think of is Michael Jackson, final answer.
All right, question number 3. Usher is a minority owner for which NBA team?
Usher is the minority owner of what NBA team? I know Marsh is going to know the answer to this. So I'm going to take a stab and say, you know what? For safe measures, let's do options.
Is it the Atlanta Hawks, the Cleveland Cavaliers, or the Houston Rockets?
None of those were in my gut. So let's do Atlanta Hawks, final answer.
All right, Armin, question number 4. Who sang the longest national anthem at the Super Bowl?
In ever.
In ever, Bob.
Since it's been recorded.
Who sang the longest national anthem at the Super Bowl?
I think I know the answer to this. I'm going to say Chris Stapleton, final answer.
All right.
Oh, Stapesy.
Okay, let's welcome back Marsh from the Cone of Silence. Armin?
He's sitting in Mike Ryder's chair today.
Yeah, he is. Armin, how you feeling?
Well, let's hope my 2-year-old brings me good luck here. If not, then we're an over.
Marsh would have defeated yet another stand-up human being. All right, Marsh, welcome back.
Hello.
Hello.
Are you ready for random trivia?
Yes.
Apparently, Armin lost to you both times in random trivia. So the wheel gave him another opportunity.
All right, maybe today is his day.
All right, Carey?
Yeah.
You tell Marsh?
Marsh, pack a lunch.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, here we go. Question number 1. What type of farm did Taylor Swift grow up on?
Options.
A pig farm, a Christmas tree farm, or a dairy farm?
I had dairy farm in my brain, so I'll just go with dairy farm. Final answer.
All right.
Anthony, can you handle the next question?
I certainly can.
As we're researching one of the answers.
Okay. All right. Question number 2. The Dallas Cowboys defeated the Buffalo Bills in Super Bowl 27 at the Rose Bowl in 1993. Who performed it during the halftime show?
1993. I'm gonna go with Michael Jackson. Final answer.
All right. You want to do this one, or you want me to? You go.
I'll do the last one.
All right, there we go. Usher, or Ursher, baby, is a minority owner. Usher is a minority owner for which NBA team?
Options.
Is it the Atlanta Hawks, the Cleveland Cavaliers, or the Houston Rockets?
I'll go with Atlanta. Final answer.
All right, Marshy, final question for you. Who sang the longest national anthem in Super Bowl history? As it's been recorded for amount of time, who has sang the longest national anthem?
Let's go with the options.
Was it Neil Diamond, Whitney Houston, or Alicia Keys?
Alicia Keys. It's not my answer, but, just thinking about her. Thinking about the halftime show, Carey.
Yeah. What about her? I'm definitely thinking about her still.
She's flat out pretty. That's the bottom line.
Who is the second person?
I'm not even mince my words. She's
Whitney
flat
Houston?
out pretty.
Let's go with Whitney Houston. Final answer.
All right. Here we go.
I missed the answer on the first one from Marshall. Never mind, I can't see without my glasses.
Jamie, I'll handle it. Here we go.
I took him off.
Let's start off with that last question. Who sang the longest national anthem at the Super Bowl? Armin, you took a shot in the dark. You said Chris Stapleton. He was not one of the options, as we know from Marsh.
It was a great national anthem last Super Bowl.
Go figure. That's my luck.
Stapesy did draw that thing out, though. I'm not going to lie.
Well, he wasn't the longest national anthem, though. Marsh, you went with Whitney Houston. Correct answer is...
our girl, Alicia Keys.
Alicia Keys, 2 minutes and 36
Could have stayed up there all day.
Mm-hmm.
They need to watch the game. What are we doing?
So we have a 0-0 tie. Usher is a minority owner for which NBA team? You both took the options. You both wound up with the Atlanta Hawks. Correct answer is...
Cleveland
Cavaliers.
Cleveland Cavaliers.
You pointed at me, Carey. My bad.
That's all right.
That was a
I'm like an animal. He points at me, I
question.
speak.
My bad. 0-0.
But Atlanta Hawks is what I would have said, too, for obvious reasons.
Sure.
Anthony.
Clearly.
What type of farm did Taylor Swift grow up on? Armin, you said a Christmas farm. Marsh, you said a dairy farm. Correct answer is...
Christmas tree farm.
a Christmas tree farm. So Armin's got a 1-0 lead over Marsh. Comes down to this. The Dallas Cowboys defeated the Buffalo Bills in Super Bowl 27 at the Rose Bowl in 1993. Who performed during the halftime show? Marsh, you went with Michael Jackson. Armin. Well, you also went with Michael Jackson. Correct answer is...
Michael Jackson.
That's correct. But Marsh didn't need the options, and we had a 2-2 tie. We're going 2-0.
Walk it off.
We're going to walk it off, baby.
Wow.
Here we go. We're going to walk it off. Armin, you're going to hold off on your answer, but when we go to you, you're going to have to say it, all right?
You got it.
Marsh is going to write down his answer. He's going to show it to us. Closest to the pin wins. Marsh, you got a pen and paper?
I got my whiteboard.
That works. All right, here we go. Your tiebreaker question. Again, Armin, you're going to hold off on your response. How many Grammys has Taylor Swift won? How many Grammys has Taylor Swift won? We're looking for a number closest to the pin wins. Marsh is taking a sweet-ass time right now. He's really trusting Armin, who's got the 2-year-old in the back.
2-year-old's Googling right now.
Yeah, he is. Or she is.
All right.
All right, Marsh, we have his answer. Armin, what's your answer?
Her favorite number, I'm going to go 13.
Ooh. Okay. What's your daughter's name?
The line. She's listening in on this phone call. She's my best little buddy, best little friend.
Is she a Swiftie already?
She is not, but my 11-year-old is.
Okay.
I don't feel good.
How many Grammys has Taylor Swift won? We just heard Armin go with 13, which meant a lot to him. That number meant something to him.
Mm-hmm. That's her favorite number.
Yeah, it's her.
It's Taylor Swift's favorite
number.
I thought it was the daughter's favorite number.
It might be. We're not sure, but
She's
it's
got
definitely Taylor Swift.
Album 13, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, you're not a Swiftie, Anthony.
No, I'm not.
We'll get you some bracelets soon.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I need some.
On the way.
Anyways, so Armin went with Taylor Swift's favorite number, which is 13. Not 87, apparently. She's a big Brock Purdy fan.
Yes, she is.
Marsh, you wrote down.
I wrote down 19.
19, which is not Taylor Swift's favorite number.
No, I don't think so.
Not yet.
Carey Davis, how many Grammys has Taylor Swift won?
Well, Marsh, Armin, the correct number is 14.
Armin.
You have chosen wisely.
Armin, you went after Marsh for a third time. He beat you twice in random. You said today is a new day. You said not today.
Not today.
Not tonight.
like it.
And you were right. Armin, congratulations. You knock off Marsh today in the tiebreaker round.
job.
You'll be back tomorrow to take on CD, Jamie, or me. Nice job.
Hey, nice fight, Marsh. Thanks for letting me win this one.
I didn't. You won that fair and square. You won that fair and square. Congrats.
I love you guys. Hope you have a great day. Stay safe, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
You too. All right,
Thank you
thanks,
very
man.
much, Armin.
Appreciate you. That's Armin here in the Fast Line on 101 ESPN.
I'm glad he beat your ass, Marshy.
Hold on now. You know what? I would have gotten all zeros if, for some reason, I just saw Michael Jackson pop up on my Twitter the other day. 1993 halftime show. Otherwise, I wouldn't have known that.
Well, there you
We
go.
had a discrepancy. That's why we got
I read it wrong.
You guys were
I read it
scrambling.
wrong. I was doing national anthem.
Oh,
And
it's
it was
Carey,
Garth-
and you had
because I saw Garth
Wikipedia
Brooks,
pulled
yeah.
up too, and I was like, I can't trust Wikipedia.
But
That's it. This is
Garth
one of our
Brooks did do
sources.
the national anthem,
anthem.
that game. I read that. I got confused with
That's
the
okay,
national
buddy.
anthem.
That's why we double check
Halftime
things
show.
around here. We
Yeah.
take it very seriously.
Thank you, sir.
You verify. Trust but verify.
That's right.
There you go. All right. The Cardinals didn't just add innings eaters. We'll tell you what else they added next on 101 ESPN. Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Well, we know the Cardinals front office set out to add innings eaters to their rotation. That's why they signed guys like Sonny Gray and Lance Lynn and Kyle Gibson. But the first couple of days of spring training, as pitchers and catchers reported, it's clear that they also signed something else. They signed intensity. Sonny Gray was already in rare form the other day.
Guy's a psycho.
Talking to Wilson Contreras about how nasty his pitches are.
Well, he was sitting there.
Nasty.
Yeah, he's sitting there yelling at Contreras, first of all, like, as he's pitching, like, where to move. Let's get aggressive. Get inside on this guy. Like telling his catcher, this is where I want you to be.
Nobody standing there.
No, but that's the beauty of it.
No, it's awesome.
I'm sure Contreras is sitting there going, this guy's crazy, but I think I love him. And then throwing it, and Contreras going, that was great. No, that was effing nasty.
Mm-hmm. Let's get nasty, Contreras said.
We should talk to Sonny Gray.
Yeah.
Get nasty in the fast lane. But no, I want my pitcher to be an absolute psychopath like that. And the Cardinals need it.
Yeah, they do.
They're so vanilla, right?
Yes.
Like, oh my, like not even sprinkles?
No.
Not even a strawberry on
No
there?
chocolate sauce?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Just so, like,
Not even a
Miles
cherry.
Michaelis, like, he's a good dude and he's a nice guy, but, there's not much there when it comes to, like, the...
Well, he's got the sage and stuff.
Yeah,
And the boat.
He's a fancy dresser, too. I like when he wears the hats and all that stuff. Okay,
funny
I give
hat.
him that. But I want my pitcher to be borderline, to be like, you're not quite sure if he's going to pitch a strike or
Stab you in the neck.
or hit you right between the numbers.
Yeah.
I know a guy that does that.
Yeah.
His name's Anthony.
Yep.
Doesn't stab. He places. He broke a beer bottle and placed it on the net.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
the beer bottle needed to... I don't know.
It was a defective beer bottle. I shouldn't have said it.
Thank you. Yeah,
It was a prop.
Yeah, it was a prop. Absolutely.
Making a commercial.
Yeah. Lance Lynn is somebody that's also got a lot of sandpaper to him. I'm not going to sit here and overblow the two, the fact that they added some sandpaper to it, like and blow it up to epic proportions. I do think is important though. I thought that Clubhouse, when you listen to a lot of the not even reports, just the comments from the actual players, when things started to go sideways, is everybody's kind of like, yeah, I don't know, everybody's trying their best here. No. You need somebody in there that's going to shake things up, that's going to hold people accountable. That's leadership.
Yeah.
So I do like that they added 3 veteran players that are going to hold players accountable. And then, of course, they signed the Salsa King to make sure that he also slaps some people around if need be.
I think
Is he that kind of person?
I don't know.
I don't think so. No.
I think he's a nice guy.
Serve up some salsa if need
I
be.
think he's a lead by example. Like, this is how we do it. Hey, kid,
I'm a
come
work-
here.
yeah,
Like, I
work
picture him
hard.
as that kind of a leader. Like, hey, kid, come here. It's not how we do it here.
You
know.
bring the Tostitos, I'll bring the salsa.
Maybe he's a psychopath and we don't know it.
The only thing Matt Carpenter's slapping around is the baseball around the field. He's spraying the ball everywhere. Anthony, we're going down the left field line. We're hitting it into the gaps. It's going to be a great year for Marp and the salsa.
I like it.
Good call. Yeah, good call, Marsh, as he dons his glasses.
It should be. I mean, here's my thing. I hope craziness, madness, sandpaper aside, I hope they are all on the same page. I hope they are all working toward a common goal, and I hope that they all have, put in the time, put in the effort, put in the work to make sure that they are prepared night in and night out, knowing how they want to attack batters, who they want to attack, where they want to attack them, and make sure that they are all in the same place. And then take accountability for the good part that you do and the bad part. If you don't make a pitch, it can't be the catcher's fault. If he's aligned and set up in a certain spot and you miss that spot, that pitch came out of your hand. So for me, sandpaper is great, but start with yourself. And I hope that this group has more of that mindset, that they will work that way and work together.
So earlier, I had teased that Jamie came into the office and said, "See, I knew it." And then we talked about something else. So why don't we clarify what Jamie said he knew?
That'd be nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would be.
Yadier Molina apparently will not be in Jupiter for several weeks.
Oh, that's shocker.
He had just managed his Puerto Rican team, and then Jamie, you were talking about how apparently he picked up another team to manage as well. So he's got some things going on. He won't be in Jupiter for a couple of weeks, according to reports like by John Denton of MLB.com. Jamie, this is something that you have discussed. We've discussed it. We didn't know what level of involvement Yachty actually wanted to have with the Cardinals. And people kept saying, oh, Ollie's afraid or Mo's afraid to add Yachty. No, that wasn't the case at all. The Cardinals are trying to figure out how much time he was willing to give them. He has other ventures outside of baseball. He's got other things that he wants to do outside of consulting for the Cardinals. And this is a perfect example of the Cardinals taking it kind of slow with Yachty.
Yeah.
And his involvement this year.
I think it's a bad look, personally. I do, because the whole narrative surrounding Yachty coming back to the team, the first thing that everybody wanted to have him be a part of was pitchers and catchers, for obvious reasons. That's where your biggest problems were last year, was your pitchers and your catcher, who delivered for you, but not to the expectations you had for him defensively or working with the staff and all that. So why would Yachty not be here at the most important time for pitchers and catchers? I just don't like the look of it. To me, this is just my opinion. I don't know anything to be true. To me, Yachty just wants to be the manager. Like, he doesn't want to take those baby steps along the way. He doesn't want to eat the gravel on the way to the filet mignon type thing. And what I mean by that is working those lower jobs where you're at the field just as many hours as the head coach, just as many hours as the manager, and you're putting your time in, getting paid a fraction with none of the spotlight and all that stuff. I think Yachty's just like, I don't really want that. I just want to step in when the Cardinals tell me to take over as a manager. What I'm going to do in the meantime, I'm just going to go manage everywhere else to prove that I can manage. The problem that Yachty has with that is, he even knows this, is that the expectations and the demand for time is not the same in those other leagues, as there's shorter seasons or shorter periods of time. And who knows, Yachty might make up his own rules in some of these teams, in some of these leagues. I just don't like the look of it.
And the media isn't as in your face constantly.
You're right, but I just don't like to look at it. You're consultant for what at this point?
Well, nothing right now.
The Caribbean League? Like, maybe he's scouting. I can't sit here and say maybe he's not. Maybe he is. Maybe he's going to be the new conduit to international signings from some of those areas. Great, if he is. But again, I'm going to go back to my original comment. The most important part of what you were trying to fix this season is your rotation or your pitching staff overall and the catcher position. And the best guy in franchise history, probably, the greatest Cardinals catcher, one of the best catchers in all of baseball ever, to work with the pitching staff, to do this, to figure things out, to have this, is not there. And he won't be there for several more weeks.
Well, that was one of my, first of all, I don't know that there are certain players that might not have to eat the gravel before they get to the filet mignon, right? There are some players that, the steak is set right there. You've earned that.
It's a little different
becoming
these days,
a manager.
Carey. You know that.
But I think there are exceptions to every rule, and I think Yachty may be the exception to that rule, in my opinion. One of the concerns that I had when they did sign him to be whatever his role would be, how often and how much will he want to be here? Because we talked about it. You and I have talked about it. Coaching and playing are two totally different animals. When you're playing, you got to show up at the stadium at a certain time, at the ballpark at a certain time. Those damn coaches are there 6-7 hours before you get there, about 3, 4, 5 hours after you leave. That's just on a game day. And so in football, it's every day. Yeah. And so it's just, I understand the amount of time and energy and effort that is required to be a coach, and not everyone is built for that. And so that was my concern and my question from the beginning. Where was he going to fit? How much did he want to be involved? How much was he willing to be involved? Because also, when you're a coach, you ain't making $25 million a year to be at the ballpark as you were, or $20 million, or $18 million, or $10 million as you were as a player. And it's more hours. It's more work for less money. And it tends to, superstar players tend, I don't have time or energy to do that.
Does it ultimately really matter, though? I feel like he doesn't have to do any of this.
He doesn't. No, from Yachty's standpoint,
he doesn't owe the Cardinals anything.
If
anything, they owe him something.
Right, but what Jamie's referring to is everybody being up in arms about how, Ollie, well, maybe Ollie doesn't want him to be the full-time manager. Ollie doesn't want him to be the bench coach, or Mo doesn't want anybody pushing back. And that wasn't the case. That clearly wasn't the case. So I think that's what Jamie's point. You're right. Yachty can be to the whatever they agreed to. He only has to do that. If they're and if he doesn't want to do that and he wants to back out, he can do that too. But when it comes to everybody having the perception, not everybody, but people having the perception of like, Ollie doesn't want him on the staff, or any of the nonsense that were being thrown out there a couple of months ago when it was rumored that Yachty and the Cardinals were interested in rejoining, that's all moot now, clearly, because he's got other obligations.
I just go back to my main point. How can he not be here during pitchers and catchers? Right. How can he not be here at the most important time when the communication...
He doesn't want to be.
When the line of communication between the new pitchers, that you've got plenty of them, by the way, and your catcher who needs to improve based on everything the Cardinals said about their catcher last year, Contreras, why is the guy not here? Why is Yoda not here right now? You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yoda ended up dying, actually, just disappeared.
I don't think we're talking about
dark all of a sudden.
I'm just saying that's what happened.
I meant the
Yoda,
Jedi,
that Yoda.
Yeah, I meant the Jedi mind.
No, I know. He was one with the Force and became a Force ghost. But I'm just saying, Yoda didn't have to be there, Man. Hell, Luke actually fell into his lap.
That was on purpose. That's because Yoda designed it that way.
Jeremy Rutherford will talk Blues hockey next.
Himself.
I 101 ESPN.
Fellas, are you currently using ED meds? If you are, nobody cares. I certainly don't. But what I do care is that you're paying too much for those ED meds. And I know what you're talking about. You get the little blue pill, you get the gummies, all that going on. Paying too much money for it. That's why you have to visit my friends at the medicine shop in St. Charles for your cheap ED meds. They have a generic called Sildenafil for less than $2 a pill. Prescription is required, of course, and they're also available to give you an incredible promotion program for you that you can get your medicine delivered to your home or your workplace. Free, discreet shipping and delivery to your home of the medicines whenever you need it. If you're out of town a lot, if you have a busy schedule, kids got after-school activities, don't worry about getting to the pharmacy. Let the pharmacy get to you. And that's the medicine shop in St. Charles. They are the best in the business. Their customer service is fantastic. If you do stop by the location, please tell them that Jamie Rivers says hi. They love to hear that. But otherwise, you can check them out online at stcharles.pharmacy. That's stcharles.pharmacy.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues lost last night to the Toronto Maple Leafs by a final score of 4-1. They'll take on the Edmonton Oilers tomorrow night. Pregame starts at 6. Puck drop is at 7. The Oilers won last night, defeating the Detroit Red Wings 8-4, and they're 8-2 in their last 10 games. We'll talk with our guy, our insider from The Athletic, Jeremy Rutherford, next. Talk about last night's game and what we can expect from Connor McDavid as well. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff. Find new roads and shop 24/7 at londoff.com and londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Notes and nuggets. It's time for the Rutherford Report with our Blues insider, Jeremy Rutherford. Brought to you by Scott Lee Heating Company, a proud Mitsubishi Electric elite contractor.
It's a fast lane on 101 ESPN. Let's head to our celebrity line. Our 101 ESPN celebrity line. We're joined by Jeremy Rutherford, our Blues insider with The Athletic, or you can follow on Twitter at JP Rutherford. JR, how are you?
Oh, doing well, guys. Anthony, how you doing, buddy?
Well, not too good. The Blues lost last night 4-1. It looked really, really sloppy. Outside of Binnington in the fourth line, not great. What were your observations?
Yeah, to me, it was one of those games where it never looked like it was going to get better, and you hate to do that. You hate to chalk it up to, one of those nights. Afterwards, I've got all the respect in the world for Braden Shen, but he made the comment afterwards that maybe because the Leafs didn't have Marner, didn't have Tavares because of their illnesses, maybe the Blues took them a little lightly. And I think that's something we probably shouldn't be hearing this time of year with where the Blues are at in their season. Drew Bannister definitely afterwards, he said, no way, not a chance can we be thinking like that this time of year. But I don't know. You never felt like, okay, they're going to get back into this thing with the way they were playing.
JR, when you look at this team, though, over the last 9 games, winning 7 out of their last 9. What is it that you're observing that has them winning that many games? Because we can talk about the Columbus game, we can talk about last night Toronto, but I think we also have to discuss the fact that they've won 7 out of their last 9.
Yeah, you have to. This time of year, when you can say that you've won 7 and 9, there's nothing but positive. And you got to take the positives out of it. One thing that I've noticed is, up until that game last night, and then the Columbus game, they're doing everything they can to win. They're staying in games. If they're behind in the third period, they're playing desperate hockey. We've seen the power play make tremendous strides in this last 9-game stretch. I think I just looked it up, 34%. That's third in the league in these last 9 games. So I think they're doing a lot of good things. It's just, gosh, when they lose, look what it looks like with those 2 games. So, I think it's a little bit concerning, but big picture, like you said, they've put themselves in a pretty good spot with how they've played lately.
Blues have a tough task coming up tomorrow night versus Edmonton. Scored 8 goals last night, and Connor McDavid didn't score any. He had 6 assists, though.
That guy stinks.
He's not good at all. What do the Blues need to do tomorrow night?
Oh, my goodness. They got to do a lot. Yeah, this team's tough to handle. You go back to the early part of the season when the Oilers were struggling, Carey, and you thought to yourself, like, are they not going to be a playoff team? This seems impossible. But every year there's teams that you expect to be there, and they fall out. And for a while it looked like the Oilers were going to be that team. But they make the coaching change. They win 16 games in a row. And, yeah, when you can score 8 goals and McDavid doesn't get one of them, granted, he had a bunch of apples, that's just tremendous. So, I'm going to try to get down to the seats tomorrow. This is one of those games where I want to see the speed. Jamie's so lucky to be down between the benches and see that speed up close. We're upstairs in the press box where you get a pretty good big picture view of it. I remember one night Brett Hull wandered through the press box and he walked up and looked down on the ice. No wonder you guys rip everybody. You can see everything. so it's a lot faster downstairs, and we got the family some seats for tomorrow night, so I might go down there and see if I can catch Connor up close.
There you go. Jeremy Rutherford joining us right now in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Jared, we know that you're working on a piece right now for The Athletic in which you're going to chat with Torey Krug and ask him a series of questions. Interesting season for Torey Krug. If you go all the way back to the offseason, obviously almost traded. He requested that he stays here in St. Louis. Kind of an up and down season. Now he's starting to turn it around. Give us a little preview on what you guys are going to be talking about.
Yeah, I talked to him last night prior to the game in Toronto, and just kind of ran through the gamut with some questions. Asked him how he thinks he's playing this season, and I'll tell you one thing he said. He said better than the stats, and I agree with him. Like, I realize Torey Krug's going to have his critics, and he has had some hiccups this year for sure. But I think by and large he's played a lot better than he did last year. He said he likes the way he's playing two-way. He likes the way he's playing aggressive in the defensive zone. And like he said, better than the stats. And you look at the stats, he's been on the ice. I have the number here. 29 5-on-5 goals for and 43 against. So, that's not a great number. And it tells the truth there. But I think that we can all say that he's been a much better defender this year than he has last year. But then you look at the offense, he's still just sitting on one goal, and the power play, hasn't been good up until this last stretch under Drew Bannister. So I think it's a situation with Torey Krug where overall he likes the way he's played. And then I did ask him about the trade deadline coming up March 8th. What's your approach to the trade deadline with everything that went on last summer with you in Philadelphia and invoking the no trade clause? And he said to read it tomorrow in The Athletic.
Well done.
You dirty dog.
No, guys, I'll give you a little tease here. He said, hey, look, things are going to pop up for sure. And he said that he's just going to, as it comes across his desk, make decisions based on that. And he had a little more to say that you can read tomorrow.
Beautiful.
JR, were you surprised at all when Torey Krug got the 5 assists that he's the only Blues defenseman in history to get 5 assists?
Yeah, that's pretty insane. And, he got that last assist on that Carey goal, and I didn't know initially if they were going to give him that. So he gets the 5 assists. And, Blues defensemen, American players, it's a short list of players for every category that you want to talk about, Riv, with the players who've put up 5 assists. And, I can't count the times I've gone up to a player and mentioned a statistic, and you ask him about it, and what does it mean to you? And he said, I didn't even know it. Or obviously you know about 5 assists, but, hey, I'll reflect on that later in my career. Well, when I asked Torey Krug about the 5 assists right before the game last night in Toronto, he was beaming. He said, this is something I'll remember for the rest of my career. I got text messages. I've played with guys who've had 5 assists, but it's few and far between. But you could tell just talking to him last night that this is something that he doesn't take lightly.
JR, I'm wondering, you talk to the guys frequently. As the trade deadline approaches, do you get a sense of maybe nervousness in the locker room or guys talking about it? Do they speak about that?
No, not too much. Even if you bring it up, obviously they're going to give you the stock answer. Riv knows that they talk about it amongst themselves, perhaps, whatever, back of the bus. But it's not something they're going to probably acknowledge too much with us. I think probably the bigger topic, and Riv, correct me if I'm wrong here, is that these veteran players don't want to see guys who can help the team make the playoffs leave at the deadline. They want to win, and so I think that we as media and fans might look at a Marco Scandella, and Oscar Sundqvist, a Kasperi Kapanen as players that aren't doing much, but I think that if you start to see these guys fly out the door and the team's chances of making the playoffs are lessened, that's going to be disappointing to some of these veteran players who think that they can get in there.
Yeah, JR, I totally agree. And I've said this before, the juice has to be worth the squeeze. You can't just make a trade of a guy like Scandella or Sundqvist just because they're UFAs, and then you get a 4th rounder, maybe a 3rd, 5th. Like the projections, we went through some of the first rounders that have been taken over the last 5 years, and there's only a small percentage of those guys that actually play in the National Hockey League, let alone a late round guy. So my question to you ultimately is, as I look at the standings, the Blues are in the 2nd wild card spot, 2 points up with a game in hand on the Predators, 3 points up and a game in hand on the Calgary Flames, who are absolutely going to dismantle that team. So that team is going to go away in a hurry. And why on earth would you make any trades at all when you have the opportunity to get in the playoffs and just stand pat? It's not like you're missing out on anything huge.
I don't think you do. I really don't. And even if it changes a little bit between now and March 8th, I think you kind of stay pat. People say, why? For the reasons that you just said. Like, if you have a chance, what's it worth to get 2/3 or a 1/3 and a 4th And then because of those trades, you miss out on a trip to the playoffs. Even if you lose in the first round, at least you're making the playoffs. You're getting some of these young guys some experience. Jake Neighbors, those guys. It's a good vibe for the organization going into the off season. I agree with you that their chances of even seeing that third or fourth round pick, aren't 100%. So if it means it's going to take you out of the playoff contention with those teams around you not playing well, and like you said, a couple of them are going to be sellers themselves, then I think that Doug Armstrong would probably stay pat in that situation. The only thing you could see him, maybe consider is some of these guys with term on their contract, and I continue to say those are off-season, summer-type deals usually. But if a team knocks his socks off, a Buchnevich, somebody like that, and I know there's been teams the past couple of days in Buffalo, in Montreal, in Toronto, watching Pavel Buchnevich, watching other forwards with term on this team. The scouts are there. Then I think that if Army were to get a package that wowed him, then maybe he could do that. But I think that's a real long shot.
Yeah, I think it is too, because you get rid of one of those guys, you're telling your team that you don't really care about making the playoffs. You're telling your fan base that, you're not eager to make the playoffs, when you can make those deals in the offseason and still get a pretty good return for it.
For sure, yep.
Jared, great stuff. Looking forward to that article that you did on Torey Krug coming out tomorrow.
Okay, now all I have to do is finish it.
Yeah, go for it.
It wasn't even a tease. He wasn't done.
Thanks, Jared. See you, buddy. This is Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We're going to Sports Six back next. 314-399-9646, the Air Comfort Service text line. So if you've got a question for us, send it in. Sports Six back next.
Hey, if you're a contractor or you own your own business and you need recycling, then you need to learn more about Scrap Mart Metals. They are tailor-made for your business to meet your schedule and your budget. They understand that job site cleanup for contractors can be a mess. You need to set up a business account with Scrap Mart Metal to recycle that metal. It's one less thing you have to deal with during cleanup. If you're a plumber, heating and cooling, an excavator, or any type of contractor, Scrap Mart Metals recycling can make your job easier. And if you own that heavy equipment, like I know, eventually it's going to break down. You're going to have repairs, but there will come a point where you have to get rid of it, and Scrap Mart Metal will get it out of the way for you. They'll haul it to one of their locations and get you a check the same day, or if you want to haul it yourself, you can do that as well. They have 3 convenient locations: Valley Park, Peevely, and Jonesburg. If it's metal, they will buy it. They offer convenient drive-on scale, and they have the highest payout. You will always get top dollar at Scrap Mart Metals. Go to scrapmartmetals.com. Talk to my guy Lucas. He can set you up with a business account sooner rather than later. That's scrapmartmetals.com, and let him know Carey sent you.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six Pack is now.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. Here's Andrew Marsh with your questions via the Air Comfort Service text line for the Sports Six Pack.
Question number 1.
All right, this first one comes from Thanks Dad. Is Valentine's Day a get drunk holiday?
Very good
Why
question.
you look at me? Looks right at me.
It's a good question.
It's a good question
Great
that I think
question.
Jamie can answer.
I don't think it's like a sit there and pound them back until you're hammered, but I think if you're there with, okay, 2 ways to look at it. 2 scenarios. One, you have nobody to celebrate with. In that case, yes, go get hammered. Go get hammered. Get a safe ride home, Uber, ride, share, whatever you do, Lyft, all those things. But if you're with somebody, someone special, it's okay to share a couple of drinks or a bottle of wine or something. And if you get a little buzz on, ain't nobody gonna be mad at you.
Mm-hmm.
Usually then the soft music, Anthony.
Little Cisco.
Yeah, a thong song. Yeah, that's it. They love that on Valentine's Day.
A little Marvin Gaye and Chardonnay.
Yeah. Oh, Marsh. We know Marsh's plans now.
Whoa.
No kidding.
Oh.
He's got a mixtape.
Yeah, he does. Here, honey, listen to this mixtape I put together.
Let me get this cassette player out for you.
Hold on, I'm going to... That's the mixtape.
I didn't know what that was, actually.
That sounded like something else.
Hey. Hey, listen.
Didn't know
Mixtape
what that
goes
was.
first.
Yeah.
Then who knows?
Sure.
I'm open to everything.
Great sound effects.
I was fast forwarding.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought you
Rewinding.
That's exactly what I thought this was.
Be kind and
doing something
rewind.
else.
Correct.
You're welcome.
Let's just go to the next question.
Thank you.
Question number 2.
This one comes from the Frito Man. What % do you give the Cards to sign Jordan Montgomery or another pitcher?
0.0.
Yeah, I would say about 0.
Well, I was
0.
listening to BK, Ferrari, and Tanner earlier, and there may come a point where Jordan Montgomery and Blake Snell have to sign for a 1-year deal. And if that's the case, should the Cardinals be in on a deal like that?
Of course.
Say at 20, 22, 24 million.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
1-year deal?
1 year.
Absolutely.
They don't have enough money.
Will they?
Why don't they have enough money, Marsh? They got plenty of money. They got plenty of money.
They could do a 1-year deal for that. No doubt. Marsh, I know you're
Would you rather
you're
be-
being cute, though.
I'm just joking.
I'm just
He's not.
joshing with you. But they're not going to. I don't think they're going to have to settle for a 1-year deal. I really don't.
It's getting, I mean,
It's
pitchers
getting
and
weird.
catchers are
It is
are
weird,
reporting.
for sure.
They are
But-
pitchers, are they
The
not?
2 most coveted starters in the offseason.
Yeah,
Who
they
are
not?
supposed to be.
Are they not reporting now? Pitchers and catchers?
they are.
Yeah. Those 2 aren't.
Not good enough.
Hey, we got our guys.
Do we? We don't want more?
Ish.
All right.
No, of course. I think they should sign Jordan Montgomery yesterday. But to Jamie's point, ain't gonna happen. 0.0%.
I don't like it.
Question number 3.
From the 636, which non-team sport do you wish you were a professional athlete for?
Which non-team sports?
Oh, boxing. I listen.
Yeah, good
If
call.
I was heavyweight champion, you know how much
Okay, but
respect.
they didn't say that. He didn't say you're heavyweight champion.
No. That's
you
what,
might
because
be
I
ranked
would be
30th
No.
in the world.
You might be Peter
This is
McNeely.
No. I get to make it how I want to make it, don't I?
This is my fantasy.
Heavyweight champ of the world. If it's a non-team sport, I would gladly. Like Mike Tyson, do you know how much people, I'm sure, just moved the hell out the way when he walked through in the 80s and 90s?
But they still do, probably.
Yeah.
Let's
Like
be
a
honest.
pit bull off the leash.
Yeah.
It's Iron Mike.
Get this hell.
Yeah.
Guy has a
That-
pet tiger.
Yeah, and put his head. That is crazy.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'm going to, one, I mean, I like where your heart is at.
You didn't think it would be Peter McNeely.
I'm just saying. Jamie's right. You don't necessarily always become.
You're not always the best.
The heavyweight champion of the world. Sometimes you're just McNeely.
What if you're the guy that people break in fighting?
Why? Why would I want to do that?
There's no reason why you'd want to do that.
No.
I think for me, if we're going to just pick our thing, I'm going to be the best golfer in the world.
That's a good one.
Give me
too.
them golf clubs. Give me that country club.
Yeah.
Give me those
You know
cocktails.
what?
I can play hungover. I don't even care. And I'm just getting paid,
Money
baby.
being made. Yeah, that's a
Just
good
getting
one.
paid.
Would you be a part of Live Golf?
Yeah, pay me. I'll be a part of whatever, putt-putt. I don't give crap. Pay me.
Yeah, that's
that
a
would
good
be
one.
my pick right there.
I was thinking. I was thinking boxing too, but Jamie just laid it.
He did just
laid
make
it
it
out.
better.
I mean, I'm not ducking people punching me.
It's fine to say, oh, yeah, we're aggressive guys. Hear me roar. But then you get punched in the face. And even if you're the champ, you're getting punched in the face.
Very true.
This is true.
I think being a Formula One driver would be sick.
Really?
That's grueling, though. Those guys, you ever seen the physical stuff they have to go through?
Oh, for sure. They have like a
Screw
full
that.
like
I'm gonna be a big,
computer
fat
inside their
golfer.
car too.
Yeah. Hammered.
John Daly.
Yep. Here we go. Out there in your pajamas.
Yeah.
Drunk as a skunk.
Teeing off on a beer can.
Living life.
It does sound actually doesn't sound bad.
Does it? And maybe Formula One is like this too, but don't the NASCAR drivers lose like 10 pounds or something like that? Something
While they're driving?
Yeah.
It's grueling. They have
they
to
don't-
like
they
a
don't-
whole bunch of training for this. I watched a whole documentary on this thing. It's nuts.
I believe that. Yeah.
Yeah. You got those diapers in there. You can put them to use.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's right.
Hey, trying to win a Piston Cup here.
Oh, I didn't know what you meant. T-O-N.
What'd you think I said it, Jamie?
Oh, man.
Question number 4.
From the 636, what teams have the best shot at defeating the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs next season? This is coming from a Chiefs fan.
Oh, boy.
Besides nobody? Besides nobody. I would say the Baltimore Ravens.
Oh, God, not again.
Who will lose. I would say the San Francisco 49ers, who would lose. And I would say
a healthy Cincinnati Bengals.
a healthy
Joe Burrow.
Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow. I think the Chargers are going to be really interesting now that they got a human being as a head coach. Or that actual brain.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll throw the Chargers in that mix.
Who will actually lose?
Yep. So Baltimore, Frisco, Chargers, and of course, Marshy's Vikings.
No, you shut your mouth.
What do you mean,
They
no?
have a quarterback.
They got Kirky Cousins.
He hasn't
going
resigned
back
there. They played 4 different guys. Yeah, I was called and I told him my shoulder was not ready yet.
Nick Mullins hung 400 some odd yards on Jamie's Lions. Joshua Dobbs beat my Falcons walking off a plane, meeting the guys on the sidelines for the
Didn't
first
even
time.
know their names.
Didn't even know their
Or
names.
the snap count. That says
team,
a lot.
That team went 7-10. You put Kirky Cousins back on that squad?
Would have been a playoff team. That's
Would
all
have
I'll
been a playoff
say.
team. Absolutely.
Probably would have lost in the first round again, but hey,
no doubt.
just get in. You never know what happens.
Unless it was against the Saints.
Just get in.
You play the Saints in any round, Vikings are going to win that
That's
one.
true. That is true.
In New Orleans, in Minnesota.
Doesn't matter.
Absolutely no shot. Have to have a Hail Mary play basically on the last. Stephon Diggs is going to make that play.
We'll make it happen.
Vikings, Saints, give me the Vikings. They won't.
Question number 5.
From the 636, is it better to cook the old lady's favorite meal or order takeout from her favorite place on Valentine's Day? This is from Kevin, who ran into JR at QT one time.
Oh, nice.
If you're looking on Valentine's Day, if you're looking for the romance side of it, I think you cook the meal.
Yeah, good call.
What if you're not a good cook, though?
Even
It's the
then,
effort.
Then you hire somebody. They have these people that are private chefs.
Yeah, that is
you
a
go
good.
buy.
Nah, that's the
you
best.
tell them.
Yeah.
Here's what I'd like. They give you the list of ingredients, or they'll even go get it themselves if you pay them for it. They come to your home and they cook the meal, and you just set up the table. You get Marshy's mixtape out.
Oh yeah.
You know, candlelight,
Whatever
and
you
then
had buzzing over there.
then this shef cooks this unbelievable meal for you in an intimate setting, and then the chef, as soon as the meal's done, they clean everything, put it in, and then because they know what's for dessert.
Couldn't you just go to a restaurant though?
Yeah, creme brulee. You could, Marshy, but this is the romance side. You have so much to learn, young Jedi. Remember you talking about Yoda earlier,
We were
right?
talking about Yoda.
You fell into my lap, Marshy.
That's a dangerous place to be, Marsh. It's a dangerous place to be.
What could go wrong, Marshy?
So many things.
I got you.
Oh, man.
I have so much to learn from Jamie.
Yes, you do.
And I've learned a lot.
Hey, you have, see?
And I've learned what not to do.
Over and over and over
But
again.
this sounds like something I should do.
There's different ways of teaching, right? Either show them what not to do or what to do.
There you go.
It's up to you to decide.
That's Jamie Rivers handing out great advice each and every day here in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. He'll also tell us how the Blues can bounce back following last night's loss. That's next on 101 ESPN. 5:05, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler with Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. So the Blues lose last night 4-1 to the Maple Leafs. And Jamie, I'd heard you on earlier today on the opening drive, and then you had mentioned it in our first segment too. You're right. I mean, this is a situation last night where the Blues were really set up for success. They didn't have their Toronto didn't have their top defenseman. They're down a couple of other players. I mean, this should have been an opportunity for another victory in a spot that you have had plenty of success before. But they didn't get off to a fast start. It was sloppy early on. It didn't really get much better. The goaltending was there from Binnington. If not, it's a 7-1 game probably. And like we were talking about earlier, if your fourth line's your best line of the night, you probably didn't have a good one. The Blues didn't.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty. And I think that from a team standpoint, you have to address it. You hate to overreact because you've had a pretty good stretch of hockey here in the last 9 to 10 games. But you have to address things like that. Like I think that it was necessary to address the Columbus game to a certain point. I think that there was some fatigue there, both physically and mentally. Did you overlook your opponent? Were you thinking about margaritas on the beach somewhere? Maybe. They're human beings. It happens. It's not acceptable, but it happens.
In Toronto?
No, this is before the Columbus game.
Oh,
that makes more sense.
Pay attention. Hang on, guys.
Toronto doesn't.
You know what? Just sit back, buckle up, and enjoy the ride.
On the way home?
Yeah. The Columbus game, now moving ahead to the Toronto game, to me it's a different mentality. For me, you have to talk about it. You have to discuss the fact that how are you not ready? Why are you not ready? And how can we change it moving forward? Because we're in a very competitive playoff race here. And I know that, Braden Shen talked about, well, maybe we looked across and took the opponent lightly. And I know what he meant with his comment. He was being very honest that maybe not him, but maybe certain people or maybe the team overall just kind of thought, oh, we can kind of just do what we want tonight, which is the wrong way to go in and approach it. I don't think it was from a standpoint of, oh, we thought we're so good. Yeah. I just think sometimes when you're being honest, this is why athletes sometimes aren't honest in interviews, is because things then get twisted and it puts into whatever context Twitter wants it to be, or whatever, right? Yeah. So I don't fault Braden Shen for saying that. What I do commend is Drew Bannister's approach to it, just saying, no, this is a tough league, and any team on any night can beat you. And when you're a team that's in a playoff race, and I'm paraphrasing what he's saying here, but any team that's in a playoff race has to show up every night, and it wasn't acceptable what happened in Toronto last night. So today's a new day. You attack the practice plan, you have the team meetings, you address some of the things that you saw that you didn't like, and this team has been very responsive to the coaching. Since the coaching change, anytime there's been a moment of accountability or a moment of honesty, the players have responded in a positive way. Mm-hmm. And they better, because tomorrow night, the opponent is the Edmonton Oilers, who are, not even arguing, who have been the best team in the National Hockey League over the last 20 games. I think 16 in a row. I think they've won two in a row. Now, again, they lost one and won two more in a row. This is a team that is playing really good hockey. They're 31-17 on the season, plus 36 goal differential. And this team was so bad, their coach got fired. Yeah. So imagine how good they are now. So you better pull up your socks and be ready to roll, because the Oilers aren't going to take it easy on you.
How important is this stretch? The Blues are 9-9-6 at home. I think you would prefer to have a winning record at home, but they got 3 of those 4 teams are playoff teams that they play while they're on this home stretch right here, and then Nashville is just out of the second spot right behind them.
Yeah, the Blues are 15-9-1.
Did I read that wrong?
Yeah, you
read
you
it
grabbed
backwards.
the LA Kings.
Oh Lord,
it's fine. You had me because I even did the same thing.
I thought I did.
I was like
15-9-1. I did do it wrong.
15-9-1, but they're 13-13 on the road.
There you go. I knew something was tied.
Yeah, no, for me, the next stretch of games here for the Blues is huge. And I go back to the stretch of games where they went out to Calgary and Seattle and Vancouver. I hear everybody say, oof, this is This is the big moment. And they went and won 3 in a row. So far, this team has been able to respond in times where they've needed big wins. And if you go over the next little stretch of games here, at Edmonton, and then the big one, Saturday against the Predators. It's a massive game. You have a game in hand on that team, and you're 2 points ahead. That's a 4-point swing. You beat them, it eats up another game played for them, and it adds 2 more points of a difference between you and them. That will create some separation. But then you got the Toronto Maple Leafs again, to which you owe them a little something.
Right.
And you got the Islanders. That's a tough game. You got the Red Wings, who are a playoff team. You got the Jets, and you got the Oilers. The rest of your month is really difficult. So if I'm the Blues, and we're looking at, 7 games here, I think is what it is. 7 games between now and the end of the month. You want to be 5-2, 4-3 minimum. You have to be.
Yeah.
You have to be.
And then you can figure out.
Then you figure it out. Well, then the next obstacle is the trade deadline. And, the trade deadline is, while the Blues are on the road here too, I forget exactly what date. Maybe it's the 9th, 8th or 9th of March. Not sure. It's in that area. I forget now, but that's going to be right in the middle of a big road trip that they've got, to where they go to Philly, Islanders, Devils, Rangers, Bruins. So life isn't getting that much easier for you here. You're going to have to create your own success. No one's going to give it to you.
March is an important month, and not just because all of us were born in March.
Oh, I thought that's where you were going.
Yeah, I didn't think it was any other reason.
Yeah.
March is an important month for the Blues.
Oh.
And for all of us.
There you go.
Because we were all born in March.
Indeed.
Every single one of us. Marsh, Carey, Jamie, me.
Are we all Pisces?
No.
No.
Aries.
So it's just Jamie. We're the Pisces?
Yeah. Carey
that makes
Aries.
sense.
It does. Makes a lot of sense.
See, young Jedi.
Yeah.
All in his lap.
Goes lap. Yep. All right. Hey, the Cardinals. Spring training, pitchers and catchers have reported.
No Yachty.
Okay.
No Yoda.
He's not
either.
a catcher anymore. He doesn't have to report.
Coach / front office.
Ish. Yeah. He'll be there.
Show up when I feel like it.
All right. He's yachting. He'll do whatever he wants.
Wait a minute.
That's what Jamie does.
Good job.
Is Jamie on the show tonight? Nobody
I
knows.
guess I'm doing something else. Wait, maybe.
Well, all right. Spring training storylines next on 101 ESPN.
Save money on your car or your home insurance with Tracy Bibb and the Bibb Agency. You are getting the best customer service when you call the Bibb Agency, and you get that personal attention that you deserve. And if you're like me, you've heard me talk about this before. Anybody ask me, well, who's your agent? I said, I don't know. Here's a 1-800 number. Well, who do you talk to? Whoever answers the phone. And I usually have to explain to them who I am, all my information, and tell them about my policy. Well, that doesn't happen with the Bibb Agency. One, Tracy Bibb immediately immediately pulls up all your information and makes sure that you have the proper coverage, and right away they start fighting for you to get the best rate available. And whenever you pick up the phone and call the bib agency, you get that personal attention that you deserve. You're treated like family. And I know this because I've had a couple of situations to where I've had to call Tracy. My oldest daughter, had to call Tracy Bibb from the side of the road after a fender bender, and she was nervous and she was scared, and Tracy Bibb walked her through the process and helped her through it, and that's what family does, and that's what Tracy Bibb does. So please give her a call for a free non-committal quote. Her number is 314-328-4260. Again, that number is 314-328-4260. It's no fib. You're in good hands with Tracy Bibb.
One, two, three, four.
It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN with pitchers and catchers reported for the Cardinals. Kind of a good time to discuss some of the bigger storylines heading into spring training. I don't know for you guys, I'm not necessarily interested. It's always fun to see the new players. So see how Sonny Gray pitches and Kyle Gibson, even Lance Lynn, even though he pitched for the Cardinals before. Like it's fun to see the new guys in the uniforms. But I think for me, one of the bigger storylines is whether or not Dylan Carlson's going to have a good spring. Can he show up, play like his hair's on fire, and make it difficult for the Cardinals to not at least, even if he doesn't start, not get his bat in the lineup? So I think Dylan Carlson's a massive storyline for spring training.
You think a massive storyline?
Yeah. Yes.
That to me, that's almost like saying when your fourth line's your best line, you've had a bad. Like, I don't know if it's a massive storyline. If Dylan Carlson has a bad spring training, I don't know if anybody
fair, but I know what the starting pitching is going to look like. I don't. But but if Sonny Gray doesn't have a good spring training,
I'm not even talking about Sonny Gray.
If Lance
I think
Lynn
Sonny Gray is going to be fine. It's the other four I'm kind of pausing on.
But no matter what, that's going to be the starting rotation, right?
That's but that doesn't mean it's not the biggest story.
Okay, well,
just because you're saying it's predetermined.
All right, Jamie, welcome into the discussion. What's your biggest storyline? You critical son of a.
So I think Dylan Carlson is going to be a big.
You know what? I shouldn't have said massive. All right, I shouldn't have said massive.
Yeah, be careful.
Yeah, I should have said an interesting storyline.
Yeah. Interesting for me is going to be
some of us
how they deploy Nolan Gorman too. I am interested for that. It's not like a big ooh. It's just like how are they going to deploy him? One, how healthy is he? Two, is he going to get more reps at second base or more reps at the DH position? Mm-hmm. So I look at that. For me, that's an interesting storyline for me is Nolan Gorman and how they deploy him early on in this whole thing.
Well, I think for me, it's going to be the pitchers and the catchers, seeing how well that group meshes, how well they mesh in comparison to last year. Last year, we had a lot of outside noise if you're in the clubhouse and you had people saying things, and it didn't seem like a good marriage for Wilson Contreras when he first got here, and it felt like he was being blamed for the majority of it. So how well does this staff and him mesh? Because Kisner's not here anymore. He won't be able to take the brunt of or some of the load or some of the pressure off of Wilson Contreras. So I think that will be a story. I know they should be better, but I think that's something to keep an eye on as well.
Yeah. I also think the pitching, the young pitchers, who stands out? Zach Thompson, does he stand out? Or one of these other young guys, the Michael McGreevy's, the Tim Kents, the Gordon Graceffis?
Do they get a real chance this spring training?
I don't think they get a real chance to crack the starting rotation, but I do think
not the starter, because I think the starters are solidified.
Yeah.
But do they have a chance to crack the bullpen? Do they have a chance to actually make the opening day roster?
I could see one of the young guys having an opportunity to maybe make the bullpen, but it's more, for me, it's more who's next in line, who's going down to Memphis, and the coaching staff's like, the moment we have any issues, he's back.
Isn't that the good sign this year? Like, what I mean by that is last year it was like, we're relying upon internal options, and it blew up in your face.
Yeah.
This year, you didn't do that. So now if Zach Thompson or Graceffo or McGreevy or somebody kind of separates themselves from the pack, that's a good problem to have.
Totally.
So I find it interesting, too. I am wondering which one of these young pitchers is going to push you to the brink of, can't really send this guy to Memphis. Not really sure what to do with him. We'll have to figure this out. I like that that's a possibility, and I like that that's a storyline, but I like that is like that would be great. Not the storyline is, woof, we better hope one of these young guys steps up or we're cooked.
Yeah, like none of the young guys, for example, look good. None of them look sharp, or they're inconsistent.
They need another year.
It's like, oh, crap.
Here's one from the 706 that I talked about often. Will the Cardinals have a set lineup at the end of spring training, or will they continue to pick names out of a hat to see who plays that day?
Yes.
All right. I hate it.
Me too.
I hate it. I've given you the analogy of if we came in here every day and didn't know what role we were going to fit, you're the leader of the bunch, and if I had to drive and you just sat there and had to ask me every segment, what are we doing? I don't know. You're supposed to tell me. Just knowing your defined role every single day, where you're going to be playing, who you're going to be hitting in front of, who you're going to be hitting behind, I think consistency makes everything, in my opinion, easier. And I think last year they made life really hard on themselves, because if you come to the ballpark and you're ready to play and then you're told, no, you're not playing today. Or you come in and think, I'm chilling, I'm good. Huh? Yeah, you're up. Well, wait, what?
Yeah.
That is a different mindset. Jamie, it's a different mindset when you're going to the stadium, whether or not you're playing today. And not that you're not professional, but it's just a different level of preparation that is required for game day, as opposed to, I'm chilling today.
Yeah.
Now my mindset is that I'm going to be in flip-flops in the dugout or whatever it is. I don't have cleats on. I'm chilling. So I think that will matter as well.
What about you, Marsh? What's your big or interesting storyline heading into spring training?
I just want to see if the young guys can continue what they did last year. Can Nolan Gorman stay healthy? Will he hit 40 home runs? Will Jordan Walker have a good sophomore year? Will Mason Wynn actually be the starting shortstop? What if he has a bad spring? Then where do you go? So I'm wondering how these guys fare in their second year, first year. It should be interesting. I hope they do well, because I want to see them in the lineup. But I wonder how much spring training will impact what they do in terms of the starting lineup.
If I were to ask you guys, pick one player that this is a vital spring training for them, or an important spring training to them, who would you pick?
One guy?
Yeah.
I think Dylan Carlson is a name. I think that's the one name, because where are you? Who are you? What are you? Are you, whenever you're at a point where, hell, this guy could be a starter, or he could be not on a team in a few, that's a difficult position to be in. So I think he's a name. I think most of the other players are pretty much solidified. Alec Burleson is who he is. I don't think there are any expectations for him to be a starting outfielder this season. Dylan Carlson would be the name that you need to have a good spring training because you could be a starter or you could be at home.
Is Victor Scott really going to get a look this year?
I think he's going to. I think he's going to get an opportunity to come up later on.
Okay,
September.
Mm-hmm. That would.
I mean, unless he's ready.
What if he just hits the cover off? What if he's
just incredible? And you're sitting there, and Dylan Carlson is mid. Alec Burleson is mid.
But what do you do with Tommy Edman?
Put him at second base.
What do you do with Brendan Donovan?
He got 8 gloves, doesn't he?
He's supposed to be yeah, you're
What
right.
do you do with Nolan Gorman?
He's a DH.
I think if he has a good spring training, we bring him up in late September.
Doesn't matter what he does in Memphis in between there.
Oh, my goodness.
Remember that March? Dude, put on a show.
Start anyone's clock, huh?
Wilson Contreras, to me, is probably the most important person when it comes to having a good spring.
Mm-hmm.
We have some new starting pitchers, some new relievers, getting acclimated, getting better behind the plate. I think that's vital for this team, especially defensively.
Yeah, that's a good call. It's going to be an interesting spring training, that's for sure. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. We got our biggest question of the day next.
Guys, if you're not feeling quite the same as you did 5 years ago, 10 years ago, who knows what it was? You start to feel tired, run down, and you just can't put your thumb on it. Well, I was feeling the same way, and so was Anthony. And we kept trying to kickstart the engine a little bit. Finally, we talked to Mentality. They said, come on in and talk to our board-certified physicians, and I did. And I was so impressed, and they put me on a fantastic program that, Anthony, I drug you in there and said, hey, you got to do this.
Yeah, I'm glad you did, too, because you were telling me. I mean, first of all, I just saw it. I just saw it on you. I saw it beforehand, and then I saw it after with Mentality, and I saw how run down you were because of all the jobs and everything. You're trying to keep pace, and you're doing everything you can, but you weren't getting to the gym as frequently. Now it's like, yep, I'm going to wake up at 7 a.m., get your 6 a.m., get the workout in, then go to my 9 jobs, and I'm still going to have an opportunity at 9 o'clock at night to do my prep work and do what I need to do. And I'm like, you know what, give me some of that. And I went down there, too, and Mentality, they couldn't make it easy. They talk to you. They tell you. They have you explain to them what you're experiencing, and they care. And then they offer you, hey, do you want to go ahead, test out your blood work? Let's see where you're at. And like Jamie and I, where we were low on testosterone, it's common. It is common as we get older. But if you want to be at peak performance and you actually want to do something about it, then go see the fine folks at Mentality, because they worked for Jamie and I, that's for sure.
Yeah, and go visit them. They got 2 locations, South County, Chesterfield. When you walk in, tell them that Anthony and Jamie sent you in. I promise you they're going to take great care of you if you say that. And if you can't get there in person, get there online. Visit them at lowtusa.com. Again, that's Mentality at lowtusa.com.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues are back at it tomorrow night, taking on the Edmonton Oilers after losing to the Toronto Maple Leafs last night by a final score of 4-1. Tomorrow night's game will be right here on 101 ESPN with the pregame starting at 6. Puck drop is at 7. Also today, according to James Larson on X, A.J. McCarron is planning to sign back with the St. Louis Battlehawks. He was officially released by the Bengals today, and his return to the Battlehawks could be as soon as this week. We talked about that a little bit earlier in the show. If you missed that conversation or anything from today's show, make sure you go to 101ESPN.com or check out the free 101 mobile app. You can find all of our interviews, which include Jeremy Rutherford today of The Athletic, and you can find all of our full shows there, and it's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. I'm Andrew Marsh, and this Sports Center update is brought to you by
Saliga
Heating and Cooling, independent American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning dealer.
It's time for the Fast Lane's biggest question of the day.
With Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter, Andrew Marsh with the biggest question of the day.
All right, we got a text from the 314. Is it better for a team to have a definitive identity and culture, or is it just simply play balls to the wall day in and day out?
Well, the latter is the culture.
100%.
If you show up and play, would you say balls to the walls?
Yeah.
That is your culture. If every guy if that's what you're doing, if you're a team that every guy knows, hey man, we show up here every day and we don't have an identity or culture, but we just go out there and we're in your face for the entire game. Well, that is your identity.
I agree.
So that's the way I look at it.
So to piggyback off of what you're saying, Jamie, I think it is important to have an identity. I think knowing how you win, that's important. Knowing who you are is important. That's important in everyday life. Why wouldn't it be important for a team? And when I think of, Carey, I use this example a lot with your Steelers teams. Mm-hmm. Me as a fan, I knew if any team had to go to Pittsburgh in January,
it's going to be rough.
It's going to be rough, man. You're going to get the snot kicked out of you. Same thing with Baltimore. Same thing with a lot of those AFC North teams, save for the Browns, because they were always bad.
Yeah, the Browns, they don't count.
You know you're going to get your rear end kicked in. If you go to Indianapolis when Peyton Manning was there, you know you're going to have to play a perfect game. You're probably going to have to put up a lot of points. If you played in, I don't know, Jamie, you probably, you know this too, but the Blues in 2019, you are going to be roughed up that entire series. You may win. Good luck winning the next game, though. That was kind of like Pittsburgh and Baltimore, too, back in the day.
Yeah.
The following week, if you played Pittsburgh or Baltimore the previous week, you're probably going to lose the next week because you're just so banged up. Yep. It took everything out of you.
Yeah.
Same thing with the 2019 Blues. If Winnipeg won, I don't think they would have won the next round.
No.
If Dallas won in that Game 7, I don't think they would have won the next round, even against San Jose. San Jose certainly wasn't going to win.
They didn't have enough guys to finish the series.
You got beat up, man. It's not my team. I think it's very important to have an identity. If you're a fan of Whitey Ball here in St. Louis, how can you not love an identity? You know how your team is going to play night in and night out.
I think it's important to have an identity, even if it's not the physically imposing team. You could be a smart team. You can be a quick, fast team. Whatever your sport is and whatever you do best, do that.
Yeah.
Right? Do that and do it often and do it more or better than your opponent is able to do it. Put pressure on people. Whatever you do well, make sure that that's the highlight of your team, and that also becomes your culture. That can, and maybe it's that for that season, but for me, the culture is something that is 10 years from now, they still have the same mindset. Like they come in, the new group of guys that didn't play with each other, that's what we do. That's what we did. Cool, exactly. And so that to me is a culture. It's hard. I think it's hard to I don't know, Jamie, do you think it's harder to create a culture or keep it established? Like keep it going? Which one is harder?
Well, it's probably harder to create
Okay.
the culture. And the reason being is because you're starting from nothing.
Yeah.
To continue the culture. So, you know what? You're actually leading me into what I was going to ask of both of you guys is, do you think that some teams suffer from a lack of identity or loss of culture because there's so much turnover in roster
Yes.
stuff?
Yes.
And that goes along with what you're saying. So nowadays, it might actually be harder to maintain
That's
the
what I
culture
think.
because you used to keep veteran guys around. Like in the
7,
NHL.
8 years, 9 years, yeah.
But in the NHL, when you were 32, 33, you were signed on purpose by a team, or you were kept by your current team to just be that guy. We had a couple of 30-year-olds, a couple of 35-year-olds on the team, and they continue to pay it forward to move the message along to the next group. And then the next group becomes the veteran guys who maintain. But it's pretty tough to do that when you have such roster turnover that by the time guys are 4 or 5 years into playing for a team, then they're gone.
Yeah.
And a new guy comes in because you're like, well, we'll take somebody else's guy who's leaving free agent. But that guy's bringing in a different point of view, a different culture. And it's starting, then it starts to almost fight itself because you got so many different guys. Because if you've got guys who played on different teams that are good teams, they have different ways of doing it.
Correct.
Right.
So they might all be wanting the same end goal, but they're going about it differently. So therefore, your culture actually ends up fractured because you have too many cooks in the kitchen type thing.
It's also, an identity, too, is a blueprint. It's a blueprint for how your front office is going to lay out the roster.
Right.
If you don't have an identity, then what is the GM doing? He's just selecting players. This player is going to work out. I think this is a good player based on the athleticism or whatever. Does he fit the rest of the roster, or are you just collecting talent? I think teams that collect talent ultimately lose. We fall for it, though. We in the media, we fall for it. Fans fall for it. Just collect talent. No. How does that talent work in unison together? If there is an identity, you can build a roster that has veteran players and young players that all fit together because they play well, because they fit into an identity. If you're just collecting talent, you're now hoping, you're almost trying to get lucky that enough guys are going to have great seasons and carry you.
So this goes back to my point not too long ago, maybe a week ago, no, 2 weeks ago, I guess now, is when the Cardinals, we talked about how bad was that clubhouse that you had to overcorrect the way you did. So if we're talking about culture, we're talking about identity. So the Cardinals are trying to right the wrong that happened because it looks to me like John Mozeliak just put together collectively what he thought was just going to be the best group of players.
Yes.
And then it kind of blew up in his face to where now he's going back and he's getting former Cardinals to come back, even signing a guy like Matt Carpenter. And I know it's not a courtesy signing. I understand that. But you can't tell me that they coveted Matt Carpenter for any other reason than to come in and help reestablish what it is to be a Cardinal or what the work ethic should be on a daily basis.
And in that case, I think, maintaining that culture has somehow been lost for the St. Louis Cardinals. I think
they picked the wrong guys to carry the torch.
Yeah. And as you said, the turnover happens. Guys are, now you're your 4th or 5th year. Now you're the veteran of a team as opposed to a guy that's in his 8th or 9th year. It just.
And sometimes, Carey, some of those guys don't want the responsibility. Some guys don't have that personality.
Everybody is not able.
And they're like,
capable.
I'm good. I'll care for myself. It's not I don't love you guys, but I got my hands full over here.
But at times, I don't know that the front office knows that. Like the guys in the locker room know, hey, this guy can't lead us anywhere. He won't do it. He don't want to do it.
Which is why the GMs need to have ear.
Sometimes they don't have a clue as to who the actual leaders are of a team. You may think it's this guy. It's that guy over there that everybody, when he speaks, they listen.
And you might have guys that profile.
Yes.
That guy there, he's a leader.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
No, he is not.
That guy over there picking his nose, he's actually the leader.
When he speaks, we sit up and listen. Now put the booger down first.
Don't wipe it on the furniture, please. And no, don't eat it.
Hey, all leaders, they don't come in the same box. No.
Let's hope not.
Bet the board. 3 stars of the day next on 101 ESPN.
Big speed and big savings.
Cheap, cheap, fun, fun. Oh, yeah, it is Valentine's Day. Make sure you stop by my friends over at Dirt Cheap and find out what that wine is you should be bringing home. Maybe it's a nice bottle of white. Maybe it's a bottle of red. Who knows? Maybe it's picking up the right spirits to make your favorite cocktails. Maybe it's a bottle of Pink Whitney. You just never know what you're looking for. But my friends at Dirt Cheap, they've got you covered. And they also have the best prices around. So whatever it is you're looking for, not only do they have that item, but they have it at the best price going. And if you're a bourbon person like myself, every day is Bourbon Day. Well, they've got Elijah Craig. They've got Angel's Envy. They've got Bullet. I've even gotten Blanton's from over at Dirt Cheap. They are great at what they do. They also have an amazing app that allows you to get all these savings and deals and specials, and you can be part of certain clubs. But what it also does, it lets you have your spirits delivered to your home. So get on the app, you place your order. You can either pick them up curbside, which is a great and easy way of doing it, or you have it delivered to your home, which is the best way to do it. That's Dirt Cheap style. That's what we call that. So please download the app, get on there today. And remember, in these holiday times, these special days, to always have fun, but be careful out there.
It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. If you missed anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast, available at 101ESPN.com, your 101 ESPN mobile app, all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Time to bet the board here in the Fast Lane. Marsh, nice job last night. You were the only dub.
Yeah, however, it came at the expense of your St. Louis Blues.
Yeah.
I am sorry.
Yeah,
I tried.
You bet the Leafs?
Yeah. I tried the reverse jinx. Jamie, I'm 1-6. Now I'm 2-6.
Nothing.
What are the standings? Do you mind?
Please let me know what I've been betting.
Yeah,
Jamie, you've been sending in you've been sending in your plans.
Carey's in first place, 4-4.
Yeah.
Jamie and Anthony are tied at 3-5, and I'm at 2-6 in last place.
Trying to turn this puppy around.
Yep. Carey, you got honors, man.
I'm going to go to the Golden State Warriors again. I've been riding these guys. I mean, I've been riding with
it's awfully nice of you.
These guys.
All of them, Carey, or?
I've been riding
just
with
the
the Golden
starters?
State Warriors.
Oh,
wow. They're minus 3.5.
That makes sense.
Against the Los Angeles Clippers. Might as well did.
Okay. All right, now that that's over with.
That was quick.
I'm going to go with the Florida Panthers. They're in Pittsburgh tonight.
No, you're not.
They're 5-0.
You're not allowed to do that.
They're 5-0. They're 5-0 on the road this year. 6-1 straight up in their last 6 games. Or 7 games, I should say. They've been phenomenal.
Right. Why would you?
Give me the Panthers minus 142 against Jamie's Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah.
I left you the Penguins.
You did, and I'm tempted. Because I have nothing else ready here.
Marsh.
I'm not picking your Sharks, that's for sure.
Do you want to
pick your Sharks?
Well, no.
You would have if you were.
Yeah, I would have definitely picked them had I not been here.
They're plus 340.
That's great payoff.
I have never seen an underdog in hockey that large. Yeah. Plus 340.
That's not great. Nah. All right.
That's horrible. Is like nobody playing for them tonight? I know they're terrible, but
a good team, Anthony.
But still, plus 340. The Winnipeg Jets are minus 450 on the money line. I've never seen a favorite that high in hockey.
Yeah. Depends on the day. I'm going to do this just because I have the Penguins. Plus 114.
That's an Anthony move right there. I kind of respect it.
Well, the other game was the Coyotes and the Wild. It's minus 115 to minus 105. I mean, it's a pick'em.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally, and I don't like either of those teams, and I don't want either of them to win, so.
Yeah. Go Penguins.
Yeah. Come on, Sid the Kid.
All right, Marsh. What do you got?
Well, Minnesota, we need them to lose. They're taking on the Arizona Coyotes at Mullet Arena. And these guys, I mean, when they're playing at Mullet,
look out.
Look out. Even though they lost to Vegas, they only lost 3-2. They've lost, I'm looking back, their last 5, they've lost all 5. But not tonight, baby. Mullet Arena.
Not tonight.
They've won 3 in a row against Minnesota. I like that, so I'm taking the Coyotes at Mullet. Let's go.
They're 15-10 at Mullet this year. 15-10.
I like that.
There you go. It's got a winning record.
It's a pretty fun spot.
6 in a row.
It is.
They've lost 6 in a row total?
6 in a row.
Hey, you know who else lost a lot of stuff in a row?
Who?
Me. Guess who bounced back last night?
You.
Me.
The expense of the Blues.
Come on, Jamie.
He was trying. He was. He was trying. All right. Marsh, criticisms, compliments.
Yeah, Jamie brought up, since it's Valentine's Day, that if you want to be romantic, just hire a chef to come in and cook your food for you and your girl. Well, multiple texters, and this one from the 617, they cook your meal for you and your girl, and then the chef steals your girlfriend.
Oh.
Well, then you weren't doing your job.
Yeah.
Or she wasn't.
Might not have been your girlfriend.
Right. No kidding.
Yeah.
You may have thought it was. She was.
Put that way.
Doesn't sound like she was.
How did you go that route?
Well,
hey, Jamie, great idea, but I'm nervous that the chef will steal my woman.
This might have happened.
It might have.
He tried to be Lance Romance. And Pepe Le Chef left with the girl.
Oh, man.
This reminds me of Wedding Crashers was it Wedding Crashers? When he's talking about, then you take the early flight home from San Diego and a couple of naked people jump out of your closet like it's a magic show.
That was old school.
The old school. That's what it was. There you go.
Because that literally happened.
Yes.
We're here for the, remember that one?
Yes. True love. Then you take the early flight home from San Diego. A couple of naked people hop out of your closet.
We got one from the 636. Great show, boys. Love you, RK. Now, I'm not sure if they are going by RK or if they love Randy Carricker.
Either way, thank you.
Yeah,
whether that is Randy or somebody else, they maybe Ronald Kuiper. We appreciate you.
Is that Mel Kiper's brother?
A lot of people don't know Mel Kiper's brother's named Ronald.
He handles the beat in the NBA draft.
Fantastic work from Ronald. Ronald Kuiper.
All right. Are you guys ready for the 3 stars of the day?
Yes.
Let's go.
Our third star of the day goes to all of those out there that are booger eaters. Shout out to the booger eaters.
Well, as long as they're leaders.
As long as they're leaders.
That was the point.
Applaud that.
I don't know. No, guys.
Our second star of the day goes to the little green guy, Yoda.
Yeah.
Shout out Yoda.
Not
You're
Yachty.
doing some work,
Not
man.
Yachty.
Yoda.
No.
Yoda.
Yep.
That's right.
And then ended up in people's laps.
Yep.
And on a more serious note, our first star of the day goes to, and this is from the 636 who recommended this. Totally agree. The Kansas City first responders today for what happened at the parade.
First responders and the brave people that decided to tackle one of the suspects. I mean, there are videos all over Twitter. I hate that there's videos. I hate that that this happened. But there were several people that jump into action. You could watch it on the video where one of the suspects is running past them. One guy tackles them. Another guy slams into him again. And 3 or 4 people sit on top of this guy until law enforcement come over. I mean, again, you talk about a courageous act. You don't know what else these people have planned.
Right.
And they leapt into action. They put their lives on the line. So, yeah. But overall, sad day in Kansas City where at least one person is deceased and several others are in critical condition. 2 now?
22 people that have been injured.
And the most disheartening thing, reports are coming out that 11 or 12 of the victims that are injured are children.
Yeah.
So we don't know the age ranges and all that, but nonetheless, this cannot, at what point do we say enough is enough with this? I mean, what are we doing?
I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I never will get it, and I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah, very true. All right. We'll be back tomorrow. Don't forget Blues, Oilers, pregame tomorrow at 6 o'clock. We've got instant replay coming up right now, though, from 6 to 7. For Andrew Marsh and Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. Be good to each other, all right? Be good to each other. We appreciate you listening today, having some fun, and, again, we'll be back tomorrow. See you.